Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
What a great night to be a Panthers fan. They're incommunicado with Justin Simmons. Joe Person set the world on fire by talking about potentially Coker not making the roster, which he didn't even say that, and everybody went after him. Thank you, social media. But even better, not only are we giving away historic memorabilia from Bank of America Stadium, tonight we will be hanging out with a Panther legend, a 5-time Pro Bowler, a 4-time All-Pro. Wesley Walls is going to be on the C3 Panthers Podcast tonight. It's the longest running Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. Each and every week, I do it with my wheel man, Cody Lack. Good to be back.
Don, you know there is no way I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than hanging with my boys talking Panther football. Tonight we have an incredible interview with Wesley Walls, and I want to give a quick shout out to the Friends Foundation of Charlotte, a foundation that I'm a part of. They do fantastic work for people with neuromuscular diseases in the Charlotte area, buying the brand new wheelchair vans, doing all types of incredible things. And I met Wesley Walls, and he was gracious enough to be on the show tonight. But Tony Dunn, we have so much to talk about. Justin Simmons, Joe Person making people mad about Jalen Coker potentially not being a lock on the Carolina Panthers.
So bananas.
So much to talk about, but you know we're going to do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You know them and love them. It's the brand ambassador, D's Ill Skills, Jake the Snake in the building, Kristen Butler, Leonard Kowalski, my man D Money, Sean Butler, Todd Dewey in the chat. I see you, brother. VR the Hope Dealer, and your bastard son, White Chocolate Espresso. Tony Dunn, and nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Get your calls. We'll handle them later in the show. We'd love to get your perspective on what's going on in Carolina. G-Baby in the chat, too. CK, the man with the golden pipes. What's good, my brother?
Man, I am happy to be here on another incredible Tuesday night to chop it up with you fellas. It's a special moment, obviously, for me because from my earliest memories, I have been a Panthers fan. I was born in '90, and from the earliest time I can remember ever watching football, it's been the Panthers, and that's from the likes of Kerry Collins, Biaka Batuka, who somebody in the C3 Legion said they didn't even know who that was, and I was like, that's blasphemy.
Whoa.
To the one and only Wesley Walls, and so this hits home for me, and it's been super awesome to be able to be here with you fellas to talk with him, talk with you guys, reminisce, but also talk about the most important part of this, and that's Panthers football. So I'm just ready to get it started, boys.
Wonderful stuff, Cody. I'm going to let you do it because this is your get. And, oh, by the way, and I will put this out here, is wheelchair, like blessing people with vans, with wheelchair access.
They're doing the lowest
necessity in life because I've driven Cody's van. We have gone around, we have gone to training camp together. We've done this. Mugs, those things are not only expensive, but then you got to have the van that's already like your property or whatever, then it's modified. And then if it goes down, this mug is in trouble.
Oh, dude, the maintenance is insane sometimes, man. Yeah, for sure. But listen, man.
You got to get a tour bus for us. Yeah. That's what we're going to do next.
Really
Cody, this is your get. Bring it in.
This next man is a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. He's in the Ole Miss Rebels Hall of Honor. He was drafted by the 49ers. played for the New Orleans Saints. We don't talk about that. But he made his career here with the Carolina Panthers. It is our honor to introduce the one, the only Wesley Walls. And to bring him in, I'm going to play a highlight video made by our very own Kyle of the C3 Legion.
We were playing the Falcons. My first touchdown as a Panther. I just spiked it, so I dropped down on my knee and did the pump shotgun kind of like this, and so that we just killed the birds with that touchdown.
He's a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. The Panthers rock star tight end, Wesley Walls.
C3 Legion, it's our honor to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Wesley Walls on the C3 Panthers Podcast. Wesley, welcome to the show. How are you, brother?
Cody, and all you guys, thank you very much. I love that highlight film. I mean, I've got chill bumps here on my arms for a couple of reasons. The highlight film and just being here with you tonight, Cody. I enjoyed the lunch we had the other day. It was a great time with friends, and I'm honored to be on your show tonight with your team. I understand somebody graduated high school in '89. Is that what I heard?
You heard that CK was born in 1990.
I was born in 1990.
You were in a Super Bowl. You have a Super Bowl ring from 1990, correct?
Yeah, well, it was the 1989 season, so it was before you were born. So I'm looking for gray hair up here, all that stuff going on right now. I'm getting old, and I was joking earlier on the show about my, Wesley or Wes, or my grandkids call me Dub Dub. I answer that easily these days. I have 5 now, so time has moved on for me. But I certainly love talking about the Panthers football and the players, and I'm excited about this season. But I'm really excited about being on the show tonight with you, Cody.
Awesome, Tony Dunn. Why don't you serve up the first question for Wesley?
All right. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a history instructor at a community college, so I'm a historian by trade. We used to do this segment on the show in the summers when I was a little bit young. It was called Where's That Cat Now? And I would catch up with old players. So I dive into the newspapers, and I like to read about the past a lot. And so I want to ask you, and I know this is a little on the spot, but if I read this to you, if I say the word pickpocket and I'm like Crocodile Dundee, I went up there and learned a couple of lessons. Do you remember this by any chance?
I absolutely do. That was 1988, and I was one of the 11 scholar athletes for the College National Football Foundation Hall of Fame, and I'd never been to New York. And flew up there, and they had all these, instructions. I had a little card with it wouldn't even have the cell phone or anything like that. I had a little sheet of paper, and I get off the plane, and some guy grabs my luggage, and he just takes off. I follow him, and he charges me a limo rate of like $100. I had $150 in my pocket. He charged me like a limo rate of $100 to get to the Waldorf Astoria. All I was supposed to do was jump on the train, but I was just chasing my luggage. And the first night there, I'm walking out of the Waldorf Astoria, and somebody bumps into me, and I'm just sitting there like, I didn't think anything about it. We go in and try to to buy a beer. I was I was old enough to drink beer, and I didn't have any money. I got pickpocketed right there on the corner of Park Avenue and Broadway, I believe, in New York, in front of the Waldorf Astoria. I'm like, I'm out of money, and I've only been here 10 hours. It was a great trip.
I found that as the most random. It was the quote of the day in the USA Today at some point, and I was like, "This is amazing." Number one, because I mean, I'm from North Carolina, but my family is Northern transplants, and I just understand the dynamics between the North and the South so much. So I was thinking, gosh. This makes, and when I was like, Crocodile Dundee was a movie that really made, like, it's like right on time at that. And I was like, this makes so much sense. This, in a sense, a country boy in the city, like, you can't even make that up. As you got pickpocketed, you got overcharged, and you couldn't even get a Schlitz.
Hey, there was no NIL back then, so I actually had to borrow $150 from the athletic director of Ole Miss then, Warner Alford, who just who lives in Oxford, Mississippi, and his son is my best friend. So I tell him the story all the time. Your dad saved me, and I paid him back. So there's no illegal activity there. But it was a great trip, and I was so honored. I was an engineering major at Ole Miss, and I took my education very serious. And to be chosen as one of the 11 scholar athletes was, at that time, the biggest honor of my life. And I was chosen to give the speech on behalf of all 11 scholar athletes. And if you want to dig this up, I gave a speech on Abraham Maslow. He came up with this pyramid, this hierarchy of needs, and it started with just like water, food, and and it just kind of just, as you grew older and became more successful in life, your self-actualization to achieve the most that you can achieve. And that scholarship that I got for being one of the scholar athletes, I used it. I graduated. I went back to Ole Miss and attended graduate school, and I took some graduate classes while I was with the 49ers, and that scholarship paid for it. So the National Football Foundation and Hall of Fame has changed so many lives. It gives so many people different opportunities for education while you're playing college football. And that's what I miss about college football now. We never hear about the student part of being a student athlete. It's all about the athlete now. And
because it's semi-pro.
Semi-pro, you're right.
Yeah. And it's probably been like that for a little while, not in your time. Cody, you go ahead and get in there, because I'm going to bring the old questions up.
Yeah, man. Well, Wesley, once again, thank you for being on the show. And in a weird way, this is our first time talking. My voice was so bad the day that we met. It was hard for me to even communicate with you. But once again, thank you for being here. And my question is about playing the tight end position, because in the modern NFL, your offense is pretty much as good as the tight ends that you have. I mean, you see George Kittle, Travis Kelce, and what they're able to do. I want to ask you, what would you say is the difference between playing tight end when you were in the NFL versus what they're required to do today? And what are some of the more tougher parts of playing the position that don't get spoken about enough, in your opinion?
Yeah, Cody, that's a great question. And, just thinking back during my days and the rule changes, I mean, there was no protection for the tight end with a helmet to helmet back then. And we roamed the middle. You have to be a pretty good athlete, I think, to be a tight end. I mean, you have to block like an offensive lineman, or try to. I attempted. And then you have to run a route like a receiver. And it's just back in the day, if you caught 30 or 40 passes a season, I mean, that was a great season for a tight end. But when you said right off the bat, no good team has a bad tight end. All the good teams that make the playoffs, the championship games, the Super Bowl, they have a good tight end. and they were able to take a little pressure. I always felt like I was a safety blanket to our quarterback, Kerry Collins, Steve Berline here. Even when I played in San Francisco, the few passes I caught there, they were always like a little check down or something that the quarterback could feel comfortable just getting a completion, you know. And sometimes that sounds like a pretty easy thing, but it's hard sometimes. It's hard to play. And the contact, what I see different now, these guys are all in 2-point stances, which means they're standing up, or they're in 3-point stances with no interference coming off the line of scrimmage. My hardest deal back in the day was just getting that initial release and getting into my route. And I always try to put pressure on the guy who's covered me, or it's a zone, try to find out a hole in the zone to get open, and felt like I was a quarterback. And Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes do this better than anybody. They'll call a route, and they'll call a play, and the defense has got it covered, and he kind of scrambles a little bit, and Travis finds a hole. That's what's being a tight end. It's like you're almost like a quarterback, and just trying to be that safety valve for the quarterback.
Do you find yourself as, no, go ahead. I guess as fans, we're looking at this from like the perspective of all of football, like the history. I don't know how a player looks at like what their role was in the game and how it evolves. But I mean, like you said, like 30, 40 passes was crazy for a tight end. Like that's a great season. And 780 yards, you had maybe 3 or 4 700-yard seasons receiving for the Carolina, plus you had 12 touchdowns in a single season, which was tied for the record until we got in the offensive, probably Tony Gonzalez. I'm guessing it's Tony Gonzalez that broke it or something like that. And now Kelce, like, do you see yourself, because I see it as like you were part of the step forward of what a tight end can be and what is in the NFL now. You were a true, real offensive threat, even though you had to do all those other things. But how do you look at that yourself as in that progression?
I appreciate that. I take pride in that a little bit, because you're right. Jay Novacek, I was a Cowboy fan when I was a kid, so I always watched the Cowboys. And Jay Novacek, I used to watch him and Keith Jackson when I was at Ole Miss. I was a linebacker in college. I was recruited as a quarterback, linebacker, and my junior year, spring, I wanted me to play tight end. So I ended up playing my senior year only as a tight end. So I was young, and I watched a lot of good players, Keith Jackson and Jay Novacek. And that was when I think the transition started from the tight end is the blocking guy, and he'll catch a little play action pass here or there, and they're good down in the red zone with a big body and long arms and stuff like that, till we could run. We could block, and we were catching a lot of balls. And big part of the offense, the reason I even was lucky enough to play with the Panthers was down in New Orleans. On third down, I think I caught 57 passes one year, and I bet you 35 of them were on 3rd and 5 to 7. So that's just a great kind of distance, and for a tight end to work in and to keep the chains moving. I wasn't much of a runner. Believe it or not, I played fullback in high school and was a good runner. But when you get hit by John Lynch down the middle about 5 or 6 times, you slow down when you get that ball in your hand a little bit. You take a look around, make sure that John Lynch and Ronnie Lott and some guys like that aren't too close.
Oh, certainly. I saw actually one of the stories. I'm sad I didn't write it down, because you brought up the hits to the head and like how, I mean, it was so violent, and I guess I don't want to say defensive oriented, but like now it is very interested in protecting players' safety, or at least they try to put that persona out. But there was a guy from the Redskins that got suspended because he gave you a hit to the head, and I think it was probably like 98 or 99. But I didn't write it down. I was like, oh, but it was about, like you said, is you had to you made some business decisions going across the middle, I'm sure.
I remember that Redskin game. I swear I want to say Deion Sanders didn't play with the Redskins, did he?
He did at one point. Yeah.
I think it might have been him. It might have been him. It may be the only hard lick Deion put on anybody.
It was not. It wasn't Deion because he doesn't tackle. But who's next? Go ahead and get something next.
Yeah, so you can't get in there, brother.
Hey, listen. I'm going to take this away from football for 2 seconds. I have three softball questions for you. The first one is right now from the Hall video. You had mentioned you play a lot of golf, and most of it's in Charlotte. Do you currently still reside in Charlotte?
I sure do. Yeah, I still live in Charlotte. We never have moved since 1996.
And what was it about the city that kept you in place for this? Because you see that with a lot of players that come to Carolina, they stay, and it's something that has that I've always looked at as, why isn't this something that they broadcast as a franchise more? Because I feel like that's something that players, while they are looking for the best contract for them and their families, I think they're also looking for the best location for themselves and their families. And there's so many players that move to Charlotte and they stay. I'm just wondering, what was it about Charlotte that kept you here? And is there something about the city that you would say to potential free agents about potentially coming to Charlotte?
Yeah, those are great observation, because the NFLPA has a retirement association and across the whole country, and the Charlotte chapter actually has a large class, and you would think it'd be full of Panther players. There are a lot of players that played all over the league that have heard about Charlotte and moved here and have kept their family here. And during my time, when I first got here, I may have said this in the video of the Hall of Honor. When I got off the plane, I just felt like I was at home for whatever reason. It was on a Sunday, I believe, and we were driving down to meet Bill Polian down in Rock Hill, and there hardly wasn't a car on the road, and it was. I was like, where is everybody? And they said, they're at church. It's Sunday morning. I'm like, now that tells me something about this community. They're good folks. And as our children, when we got here, let's see, in 96, my son was 3, and my daughter was 5. And as we just stayed through the years and 7 years of playing here, there was no doubt that we were going to. I thought as soon as the career was over, I'm going back to Mississippi. I'm going back home. I had a little business back there, and when that time did come, I went back for about a week, and I'm like, I can't leave Charlotte. We're going. And the kids were crying. The wife was angry. Let's get your butt back home in Charlotte. We're living here. So that's what happened to me. But you're right. It should be the Panthers. And I will say this about Mr. Richardson and the ownership back then. They wanted it to be like a family atmosphere in that locker room, in the community. I know these players now. It's a lot different than what it was like in '96 here. But we had the best of it. I mean, you could go to the mall, and you'd go to your schools where your kids are at school or whatever. And the kids, they just loved having you around, and it just made you feel so important to be part of the community. And in that stadium was full of Panther fans. There you might see a little Pittsburgh white towel flying around every once in a while. We played the Steelers, but for the most part, it was full of Panther fans that are rabid for us, and they really helped to shape that '96 year, which I still think in my career, that was the best, one of the most fun, entertaining seasons I ever had, when we went up to the NFC Championship game, ultimately losing to Green Bay and Brett Favre, who ended up winning the Super Bowl. So this city is special. Mm-hmm. And I've been out of the league since 2003. So I've been out 22, 23 years now. I just, every day I wake up, thank God that I'm here. And my kids were raised here. They're all in different areas right now. And if you're an NFL athlete, sometimes you feel like you're a hired mercenary sometimes. I never felt like that. I felt like I was a part of this community. Our team, we were family. Some of my best friends are on that football team back in those days, and some of my best friends in my life still live here in Charlotte. So that's what it has to offer here. That's why the city is so great.
And one follow-up real quick, Cody. So to that point, that same segment, you were talking about playing golf 60 to 70 times per year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
First, what do I need to do to be able to do that? And secondly,
You got to be an all-pro.
right.
Tight
And then
end.
second to that, how do you have a wife that lets you do that? Because I am still struggling to figure this out.
Yeah. Well, you remember now, you're born in '89, so I've got you by a few years. And
Yes.
So the longer you've been married, and I think we just celebrated our 35th, going on 36. She doesn't really want me around the house as much as you.
Fair point.
Get out of my way. So she gives me a lot of leeway. And Christy and I met her when she's 17. So it's we know each other very well. So you got to have an understanding wife. You got to have a golf group that you can play with. And so as you get older, you get my age, there's a lot of people that, don't work as hard as they used to, or they get more free time. That takes up that's pretty hard, but we have a little group that we always can find around and get a game. And then you got to love to compete. Golf to me has been a safety valve, I guess, from football. It's just like, okay, I still like the competitive juices. I want to win. And when I'm so bad at golf and you make so many mistakes, I never could have been really good at it or what, but it does bring back some of the old feelings of football. I just want to be good at something. And so you just keep trying and trying. Next thing you know, you had 67 rounds in 1 year, and you're like, I'm trying a little too hard, maybe. I know you take a little easier.
Have you made the decision to move to senior tees yet? Because you can, and nobody can blame you for it. Can you swallow your pride enough to do it right now?
That's a good. I only do it when we play in a charity golf tournament. It's out at Providence Country Club. They let anybody over 55 and older. You get to move up a tee box, and I'll do it because it's just my teammates make me do it. But I still hit from the regular tees at my country club here in town. And I can still move the golf ball, but not quite as far. But I'm people are gonna say that I'm really. Sometimes people think I'm a lot better than I really am. I'm about a 9 or 10 handicap. Although as a record, my GIN is a 10. I think it's a 10.6. But I've been as low as a 4. And every time I think I'm good, just like the other day, I played with Adam Thielen, and Adam Thielen is about really good. I'm telling you, he can kill the golf ball. He's 34, and when I was at 34, I thought I could hit it too, but not like him. He's a good player.
You mentioned 35 years of marriage?
Yeah.
30. Well, I did read a story that when you were drafted by San Francisco, you got married in Las Vegas, maybe?
Man, you did your homework over here, so it was not Las Vegas.
I always do. I told you I was.
That's the professor right there.
You wrote this is like you guys got married, and like you. I mean, obviously you're in love. You knew each, but you said something like, "Them plane tickets are expensive." Coming back and forth.
So my now wife was my girlfriend. Actually, she's my fiance for a year or so at Ole Miss. And when I got drafted, it was tough, man. I moved out to San Fran immediately, and she was going back and forth in school. And we had and we're engaged. I gave her an engagement ring. You can just tell this on the podcast too, but it was her freshman year. It was my junior year. And I met her in August, and I scrapped up, I borrowed enough money to buy an engagement ring and gave it to her in November of the same year I met her. And and then, we stick together, and she was getting so frustrated with going back to San Francisco. We had a Monday night game against the Giants, and we beat them. And she had a red eye back to Memphis. There was a direct flight back to Memphis. And she says, I can't do this anymore. We missed it. The flight was late. And she says, I can't do this anymore. And I'm like, well, I tell you what, let's call your dad, and I want to ask for your hand in marriage. Let's elope.
Nice.
We elope.
Also, guys, he met her at a wedding, and said he was going to marry this woman. He said, "I want to be," and ditched his date. Think about that, guys. Ditched his
Have you been
date.
talking? You've been talking to my buddies.
I went back here. Look, like I said, I work at college. I work at a college. I just got in them newspapers, and you had a story, and it said, and it was the same story. It was like, hey, this is like, I think you had just got married, and was like, these plane tickets were getting expensive, and they were like, is that the reason why? You're like, no, that's not the reason why, but maybe a little. And then, but it was, you met at a wedding, and obviously, I'm not going to tell the story for you, but this is what I had read, and that's a romantic. He ditched his date and said, you know what, I'm going after her, Cody.
I love that about him.
And did. Congratulations. What's your wife's name, by the way? If we could just say hello to her. I mean, not like in person, but
yeah, she's over here somewhere, but it's Christy. Christy Washington was her maiden name, and I mean, she's a looker now. I'll be honest. When I first saw her, I was like, "What, man? Who is that?"
I mean, clearly, that poor girl got ditched.
Yeah, that was not so good. But you know what the bait was to finally get her kind of to the side where I could kind of introduce myself to her. She was a guest at this wedding as well. I mean, not like a close friend. I was a little closer friend with the groom than she was. But my best friend's girlfriend invited her to this wedding, and we got seated next to each other somehow. And so I was looking at her, she's looking at me a little bit, and we went to the reception. I got her name, and the next night we went on a date, and it's probably 24 hours later than that, and I said, "Hey, will you be my girlfriend?" That's how we used to do it back in
man, you were hook, line, and sinker. You felt you were out over your skis.
You were always the man. Let's say it that way. You knew what you wanted.
A romantic. All right, go ahead, Cody.
Yeah,
we're taking a lot of his time up, and we still have a couple more.
Yeah, so Wesley, one of the questions that I got to ask you at the luncheon was about Dan Morgan, and one of the reasons why Panthers are so excited about this year is because of Dan Morgan and the changes that he's brought to this front office. Everyone from the draft and how he's handled free agency. I want to know, what is your best story of Dan Morgan, and does it surprise you at all that he is now the general manager for the Carolina Panthers?
Well, I'll answer the last question first. It does not surprise me at all. In fact, when I heard that, I'm like, nobody knows more football than Dan Morgan. I mean, this guy, and part of the first question you asked, what is it about Dan, that story or whatever? I remember when we were drafting him, and he did an interview. He was one of the prospects. He went to Miami. Everybody knows that. But he never went to South Beach. He was there for whatever they played back then, 3 years or whatever, never went to South Beach. So I kind of asked him, I said, man, you never went to South Beach? No. And then Dan Marino he knew Dan's father or somebody in his family, and Dan and I were friends. We were playing golf, and when we drafted him, he says, this guy is good. I mean, he's a great player. He's a great person. He's tough. He knows football. He studies it. And the second story I have on Dan Morgan is he's so intense at practice. It's one of my last years. I think we got him in 2001, and I think he was a rookie then in 2001. And we're at practice. I mean, he's clearly got me. He's playing man to man. Clearly, I could tell right off the bat he was staring me down like he's going to kill me. And so I said, I think he's covering me. And I look up to him and I go, easy, big boy. Easy, big boy. Save that
like
stuff.
A caveman a little bit.
I said, easy. Save that stuff for Sunday. This is Monday. All right, take it easy.
I've been in the league for 13 years, homie. Cut me a break.
Give me a break. I said the same thing to Julius Peppers too. I said, "Oh, big man, hold down, slow down a little bit. This is Wednesday. Won't have to worry about this till Sunday."
Julius Peppers is the reason I'm a Carolina Panthers fan. I was 19 years old, was not a big football fan overall. You know, man, I was a skater. I like hockey. I was a skater, but Bailey, North Carolina, right down 30 minutes from where I live at. He played. He was a freshman playing against one of my friends that was a senior. And and my friend Flap, he has the like punt return record for that county or something, you know. And he said this guy was a man when he was a freshman. And so I watched him play basketball, and I was getting into football. And then I said, wherever Julius Peppers goes, I will cheer for him. And then he went to Carolina, and here we go. We've been doing a podcast for 13 years on that. Cody, keep going with the football questions so we don't take his whole night up.
Sure. Wesley, one of the things that the Panthers did in fairly recent history was move up to the number 1 overall pick to draft Bryce Young. And this is a big time year for Bryce. I wanted to know, what was your own personal evaluation of Bryce? What kind of quarterback do you think the Carolina Panthers have? And what kind of year are you expecting to see from Bryce this year?
Yeah, that's let's go back to when Bryce was drafted. I just watched, I'm Ole Miss guy, so I'm Ole Miss and Alabama played, and I watch Alabama. I actually committed to Alabama in high school, so I've been a little bit of a fan ever since. And I'm such a big fan of Bryce Young, and just the way he played. I never had met him, and then I ran into him on his rookie year with Frank, and just what a good guy he is. What a well mannered, just really like your son, like you want your son to grow up to be. Yeah. Is what Bryce looked, and he had an adjustment for the NFL, and I wish they would have said Andy Dalton, get in there and just stay there and let Bryce learn, because all the great quarterbacks I played with, Joe Montana, I mean, he didn't start the very first game. Tom Brady sat for a while. All the greatest quarterbacks really kind of had learned a lesson. They were watching the older guy, the more experienced guy play the game. And Bryce was thrown in, and we didn't have a whole lot of good players. We have better players now. I really believe that. We have better players. Bryce has matured. I'm excited about in fact, I feel like I was right before, his rookie year. I'm glad we have Bryce Young on the football team, especially with the weapons that we've surrounded him through Dan Morgan in the draft and through our free agency. And some of the guys that have been on the team are getting better every year. And we're so young at some positions. We're not that young overall at the Panthers, but we're getting younger and better every year with Dan. And of course, that's going Coach Canales, and then you got Mr. Tepper too, or behind the scenes making it all happen.
There, one of the segments we do at the end of the show, we call it the Ice Up Pick, and it's our homage to Steve Smith, where he told Keith Talib. I always get his name backwards. To ice up, right? And so this is where we step out. We tell someone in the world, toughen up, get it together. We can step outside of football. And I'm foreshadowing my ice up pick, but there was a college player who I really like a lot, who reminds me a lot of Cam in a way, who is reportedly turned down $8 million to transfer.
Lenora Sellers of South Carolina.
Right, yeah. So wow. I was thinking about this, right? Like the college game and stuff, and everything that's going on with sports today. And it brought me back to, and I hope, I don't want to, you transferred from South Pontotoc. How do you say it? Patoka?
No, it's Pontotoc. But you say real fast, so you don't. It's like Pontotoc.
Pontotoc,
Mississippi.
Yeah, and your junior year of high school, and it was challenged in court, and you were denied eligibility in basketball and baseball and track in the spring semester. And so the reason I bring this up is because I was thinking about. I just want to get your take on this. The idea that you had ultimately like a Supreme Court case, probably in the state, And where I'm from, in the late 90s, we had some really good players that tried to go to different high schools, and they would get like their grandma's address, and people, it was such a big deal. How does that feel, thinking back that you were like a landmark case in a sense, and now high school players are getting paid and guys are getting paid $8 million in college?
It blows my mind when I hear those kind of numbers, and sometimes I question them, but I understand. I like Cooper Flagg. I heard the other day, 21 million last year.
Jeez, don't go to the pros, just stay in college.
Absolutely. So it is. That just tells you how. I mean, that was a long time ago when my junior year in high school, and it's probably 1983. That was traumatic for me. My mom and dad got separated. My dad came to me and said, "Look, I want you out of here. I'm going to move to a city to a good football team, and I want you to live with me." And I told my dad, I cannot go to Tupelo. That's a big city back then. I'm not going up to Memphis or Jackson. I said, my best friends are here in Pontotoc. So I switched up to the city school, which is a little bigger, different conference. We did play them every year, and then hell broke loose. I was
made
shocked.
The stink? Where did the stink come from? Like the school that you were leaving, the fan base? How does that even work back then?
Yeah, I think the head coach of the South Pontotoc made the stink and the principal, because I can remember the day I left. I went in to get my transcript, and the principal told me I was making a big mistake. He said, "Wesley, the biggest mistake of your life. You're moving for the wrong reasons." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "My dad lives up there. I'm gonna move in with him." He says, "No, you're moving for athletics reasons, and you know what? You're really not gonna make it in football. I think you're a better basketball player," is what he told me.
You did hit 308 or something in baseball too, by the way.
452.
452. Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
It's 17 home runs. We won the state championship. But anyway, but still, I tell this to young people a lot of times, and some change happens in your life so fast, and you can't really, you don't expect it. Obviously, I mean, you're surprised by it. I was so surprised by the backlash that I had. My sister stayed at that school, and what a big deal. And then when it got to the court level, I just couldn't believe that these people were deciding my future, and I hadn't done anything wrong. I mean, sometimes things just don't go your way. And I felt at that time that I was been wrongly treated, but I'll tell you what it did.
Yeah, because you weren't moving, you weren't transferring just to get an edge. You weren't just like setting up a PO box, or something like a second house. That's an actual life change that was happening, and it got politicized by high school football, which now the kids are getting paid in high school.
Yeah, it's a different world. I mean, like you said, maybe at the beginning there's some stuff on the NFL tight ends, but in high school, I mean, goodness gracious, we never thought about getting paid. We just loved our teammates, our teachers, and it was just a small. This seems small compared to what's going on now in this world.
All right, let's do the final round of questions, because I know you've given us so much time and we appreciate it so much. And maybe if we get one last round real quick, that one day you'll come back.
Wesley, you've been incredible. I want to ask you, how did you get started with the Friends Foundation? How did you come to learn about it? And could you tell us just about some of your time with the Friends Foundation and why you decided to help be a part of it?
Yeah, Cody, great question. That was my second luncheon to the Friends Foundation luncheon held a few weeks ago. And Ronnie Sherrill is the founder. He started the foundation and started having this lunch with friends that just got together and said, "Hey, how can we help who can we help in your life? Who can you help what's going on in your life that maybe somebody needs some help?" And that's exactly what Ronnie did. He gathered a bunch of friends together, and at lunchtime they would give the resources to needy families and people that needed some help. And when I do work with Shelco Construction, and Ed Rose is a big customer of Ronnie's company back then, and he invited me to that luncheon. And when I got there, I was just amazed, just like I was with you. I mean, just getting to know someone like you, that what you've been through, it makes me a better person, a stronger person. And to be able to help out any way I can, or a lot of people can, it's an honor to be a part of that charity and that foundation.
He's the star of our show, by the way, Cody. All the time.
He's so gracious.
Yeah, he's the most controversial because he gives no F's, but at all. Like
I've been known to talk a little shit, just a little.
He is, but it's been a wonderful. Like, we have made friendships so incredibly together, doing stuff like this, and it's fantastic that football. And it's weird because this podcast started because my former roommate moved to. He's passed away. He had a lot of health issues. I always get a co-host that has a challenge in their life. That's like somehow, but we connected by always just talking about football on Sundays. Like, we would call each other at halftime. My final question is, you mentioned the NFC Championship in '96, right? Make sure I get the year right. Playing against Brett Favre, but you also played with Brett Favre and caught a touchdown in a game that's become kind of legendary in football history. His father died the day before. He goes out and puts 399 yards and 4 or 5 touchdowns up. What? I don't know. Like, I'll let you take the question wherever you want to go. What was it like playing with Brett Favre, or even greats like Steve Berline, who I have a Steve Berline jersey? What was it like playing with Brett Favre and some of these other quarterbacks that you played with in Carolina?
Yeah, well, we can start. I'll do it real quick too, because look, Kerry was the starting quarterback, and my first trip here, I met Kerry, and I knew we were going to hit it off. And in fact, we were close friends, but I'm like 20 years older than him or something. No, not that older. I was thinking of Greg Olson. I'm about 22 years older than Greg. But but Kerry believed in me, and that's one of the first with me, because I mean, I played with Joe, Steve Young, Joe Montana, Jim Everett. And having the chance, Brett and I had become friends, just to fast forward a little bit, over the years. And I said, look, man, if you ever need a tight end, you guys give me a call. So the Panthers released me in 2003, February. And I get a phone call in August, but it was late July or August, and it was Brett. Brett Favre's on his cell phone. I had a cell phone then, and you could tell who was calling. I had a caller ID. I'm like, hey, Brett, what's up? He says, hey, man, you got any gas left in the tank? I said, what do you mean? He said, we got a tight end that went down. We need somebody to come in and play. I said, yeah. He said, are you in shape? I said, hell yeah, I'm in shape, man. I got plenty of gas left in the tanks. The next thing I know, I signed with the Panthers the Packers the next day. So fast forward, I get hurt early, pulled hamstring, never pulled a hamstring in my life. I finally started getting in the game toward the middle of the season, and we had that Monday night game against Oakland out there, and everybody knows about it, but and what happened. But there's some good backstory. Brett, first of all, was the only quarterback I ever played with that would bring his golf clubs on a West Coast trip and play golf on Saturday or Sunday before a Monday night game. And that's what he was doing. And I knew Herb, his dad, his family. And when that news broke, that his dad had a heart attack and died and passed, and we tried to get in touch with Brett. We had a team meeting that night. And for all the years, this is my 15th year in the league, we got 53 guys in one room, and we got a All-Pro, Hall of Fame quarterback that's just lost his dad. I never felt so close to him, like as a team, as a person, with someone, and the whole team just right in Brett's back pocket. I mean, he had us. And we come out in that game the next night, the first, I tell people this all the time, I'm clearing out the safety, Bubba Franks is crossing over, we got a fullback in the flat, and Brett's got a chance to run on the left side. and he just leans back we're about on the 34 going in. He leans back and just throws a bomb, and I'm looking back, and in my mind, I was like, I think he's throwing to me. And I'm like, yeah, he is throwing to me. I think I can catch that thing. and I checked it down. And Brett and I have fun about it all the time. He says that was his best throw, possibly of his whole career. And I said, that's my best catch of my career. And I really, after that game, I didn't want to play anymore. I don't think it could have gotten any better unless we'd have won the Super Bowl. But that was the year the Panthers went to the Super Bowl and got beat by the Patriots at the end of the game. But that was a great experience, man. And I'm going to tell you, I'm so blessed. I was in a small town, just trying to get education, go to college, be one of the first Walls to go to college, and somehow be able to get a scholarship to play football and use that football to get the scholarship, and then get a scholarship from the National Football Foundation to go to graduate school, and then get a chance to play in the NFL at Ole Miss as well. I couldn't be more blessed. So I love the stories. I appreciate you guys digging up that stuff about the me and Christy eloping. There's a great story on the wedding night. We'll do that on another broadcast. But some of that stuff just makes me go back and just realize about certain times in your life, somebody stepped in, some person came through and pushed you across where you didn't know where you were going, and they helped you get where you're going, and they saw something in you that maybe you didn't see in yourself. So I hope that can happen for everybody.
CK?
I'll ask your mic drop question here, and it's a yes or no. You alluded to it. The year after you were no longer a Panther, we go to the Super Bowl and we lose. Is it a coincidence that we lost the Super Bowl and you weren't our tight end?
Well, that's like, I feel like I'm in the Senate now. That nobody ever answers those yes or no questions. You got to. But man, my man Chris Mangum, I'm gonna tell you this: he's an Ole Miss guy. He deserved every opportunity in that game, and he had a great game. In fact, I was like, they got the right guy. They got the right guy tonight. And
Dan had like 24 tackles in that game. I really give it. What I think about with Dan is Mr. Morgan, GM Morgan. I don't know what I should call him, but the idea that he was such an intense player that he sacrificed his body, and he realized, and we've had our two greatest linebackers in our team history. I want to say, deal with the same challenges that football gives them, and both of them were, I want to say, I don't even know if it's smart enough or just recognize that their lives were valuable enough to. I think that shows like that's why he's a GM. Right, yeah. Because he could have continued to sacrifice himself in so many ways. Cody, again, I'm going to let you do all the best work here because this was your get. And I'm so thankful for it, Cody. This is my brother right here.
Yeah, man. Listen, Wesley, you've been incredible tonight. We have such a fervent fan base here at the C3 Panthers podcast that we built up over a lot of years of doing it. And, man, everyone in the chat room has been loving this. So, again, thank you so much for doing this. My final question for you tonight: who is on your Mount Rushmore of NFL tight ends? 4 tight ends who you say are the best to ever play the game.
Oh, my gosh. I'm still in awe of Tony Gonzalez. I really am, man. That guy was an incredible athlete. Jason Witten, playing for so many years. I mean, he never missed a game. And I know I'm going to miss I remember watching Antonio Gates, the first game he ever played. He's in I was with the Packers. We played San Diego out there. And I'm like, who is that? You just knew those guys are going, those 3 for sure.
And Wesley Walls, of course.
I wish I'd had if I'd had a little more productive first 5 years. It just took me a while to get adjusted to NFL and the injuries, but I may have had a chance. But they got this old school Hall of Fame thing now. You turn 20 years after whatever, maybe something there. But I'm not going to be upset either
Is
way.
it Kelsey? Is it Kelsey? Is it who are we missing?
Well, you got to put Kelsey up there. By the end of this season, if he doesn't get hurt, he'll be the all-time yardage, touchdowns, playoff games, everything for tight end. But I still Tony Gonzalez was such a great athlete, and he's really changed. I'd say Joe Novacek, and those guys we took it to a little different level, and then those guys came in and just blew up the position like it's never been played, and we're so productive. And I'm like Greg Little right now. Greg, what's his name out there? San Francisco. Tight ends are underpaid, and we need one here on the Panthers. And I think we may have one in that young kid from Texas. So I'm hoping that happens.
Yeah, just take my Sanders shout out. I like that. Love that. Wesley, thank you so much for your time. This has been an incredible interview. Maybe we can do it again one day, maybe after the season, and do a summation of what happened. But thank you so much for your time. This has been incredible. And are there any final words you would like to give to the C3 Legion?
I think I'm good. I appreciate you guys taking the time. I love talking about these old stories. So call me anytime, Cody.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much, Tony. And
look, we took up 30 more minutes than we should have. Thank you, and luckily your wife doesn't want to be around you as much anymore, so it's okay.
That's good. That's a good point. I see her looking at me right now, like,
yeah,
you stay there as long as you want. No, I'm kidding.
Well, thank you again. You have a great night. Enjoy your night, and it's been a wonderful blessing to us, and very rewarding. And keep pounding.
Thank you. Keep pounding. Go Panthers.
Thank you, Wesley. Keep pounding.
All right.
Wow.
We were hanging out. The C3 Panthers podcast is back, baby. Not back. We've been here the whole time. We haven't missed anything, but Cody.
We've been here for years.
Yeah, we've been here the whole time. It's not the first player we've had on the, you know what I'm saying, but it's been a minute since but great get, Cody. Celebrating you.
Dude, your question.
And like Cody says, I'll play that cripple card anytime.
Oh yeah, you already know me, man.
I did want to ask him, like, I mean, there's more. You want so challenging.
Yeah.
It's like when you ask good questions, they lead to good answers. So then you get into stories, and it takes time instead of just like quick hitters. One of the things we'll ask him next time in the future, if we ever get him back, is the celebration. His touchdown celebration would spike the ball and then pump shotgun it.
Yeah.
You can't do that in the NFL. So it was wonderful.
Yeah. No, it just means that we're gonna have a lot more awesome questions to ask him in the future. And I think he loved how you really researched and asked him some good questions about his marriage. I'm sure he appreciates that. Oh, and by the way, shout out to Todd Dewey in the chat. Todd is how I even became associated with the French Foundation, and
Excellent.
They've been incredible. And Todd literally put me at the table with Wesley in hopes that we would be able to make this happen one time.
That's fair.
So,
thank you, Todd.
Love you, brother. You're incredible. And I'll be seeing you soon, man. Thank you so much.
Cody, just going back to, and I'm not like trying to celebrate my question, you know what I mean? Like, it's just my nature like as a historian to like look at things from the past and try to, but I found when I used to do, and I had a lot more, not time, but you know what I'm saying? You got that excitement. I was doing Where's That Cat Now segment. And and the best one that I ever had was Mike Mentor. And the saddest part is, I mean, this is in 2015, you know, it's like, it's different than now with StreamYard where you can click it and it works and it records everything. You know, I'm using like 7 different programs trying to Zoom and call. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling on Google Voice and trying to record it on my computer. I had like an hour-and-a-half conversation with him where I had him belly laughing, all of this, and it only recorded my side.
Oh,
it was the sad.
Dude,
like, I mean, I cried. I
punch.
literally cried afterwards. But what I've not learned, but I guess because I approach it in that way, is that when a player or anybody that go into the media, in a sense, you know, in their eyes, it's media. Like you're putting yourself out there.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
they usually get the most superficial questions, like what are your top moments? What do you think? You know what I mean? Like these real surface level questions. And I found that people always have kind of a guard up a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And then when you recognize them as people,
Yeah.
that's why I opened with that pickpocket crocodile.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I'm all about this. So
Yeah, let's
fantastic.
open up to a really good, less of an interview and more of a conversation between friends.
Yeah,
and I
we
feel like that's
value
what
you
we,
as a person.
yeah, and I feel like that's what we do so well here at C3. Man, somebody
had a
awesome
great comment. I think
comments,
it
too.
was Kyle who said it. He
Yeah, we
said
have a
this-
bunch of super chats too.
he
Yeah,
said this fits so much into the mantra of this podcast of us. We're in the car riding to the game, right? Like the discussion with him was not just business like. So fantastic stuff. Thank you again, Cody, for providing that opportunity. The number's 252-228-5098. We're going to be taking your calls. In fact, should we just take a couple of calls, or should we jump into a couple of news segments here? Where you want to go? You're the producer. You tell me where you want to go.
yeah. I said let's do just a couple segments, and then we can hit a bunch of calls in a row. I wanted to make sure that we didn't miss any of these incredible super chats from the wonderful C3 Legion. Panther Gal 73 with the $5 says thanks for hanging out with us, Wesley. Stonewall, a member for 8 months, says this is great. Will Horsley for 28 months.
Fantastic.
Thanks, you brother Sean.
33 months. Look at these numbers.
33 months. We love the C3 Legion. And thank you to Stonewall for the $9.99. Such a great show. Keep MF pounding. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Boys, let's jump into the show a little bit. So the Panthers put out a teaser, and of course, everybody's freaking out. They were like, oh, they're introducing brand new uniforms. Well, turns out it was just our mantra for the 2025 season. They put out a video. And of course, as always, with anything.
Oh, you were part of it. I saw you be a part of it.
Yeah, man. You know me. I like
y'all were already like
bit.
just
yeah, but this
initial
is
social media reaction in it.
So this is the video that the Panthers put out, and let's react to it.
Our mentality is clear. Attack.
Everybody up! Everybody up! Let's go!
We're built to hunt, not here to blend in, but to break through. A team ready to emerge from the shadows, defend our lair, and prey on new territory. Chest out and eyes set on one goal.
That's it, man. Let's win today.
Win. Win in preparation. Win in performance. Win in all phases.
Let's go!
It takes heart to carve out a legacy, and we're hungry to leave our mark.
There you have it, the Carolina Panthers.
All right. As we walk through the social media timeline, this video comes out. Why was there like a backlash?
Well, so again, if we go back to this graphic right here, there's been a lot to be said about the Panthers uniforms, and they're really doing a lot of marketing with the black helmets. I feel like fans have been a little bit too optimistic about potential uniform changes or permanent black helmets. And originally, they just put out a very cryptic tweet with the Levar mark and the slashes like I have up on screen. And fans didn't really know what it was. After that video dropped, so many fans were like, wait a minute, is Levar mark the new keep pounding? Are you abandoning that keep pounding drum so
It's
much
social media.
so
This
much
is-
so that the Panthers had to put out a reassuring tweet, basically reassuring fans that keep pounding is going nowhere. So
this
this
is
is,
irritating to me, bro.
yeah, I know, but
It's
actually,
so
my,
irritating because like everybody is so knee-jerk reaction to every single thing. One, social media. Two is when you get like 1 trillion people looking at the internet together, like you look for, like you read too much into things. So like we have had sayings through I didn't know, like unless they came out and said we've decided to change our mantra, like that would not have been my first assumption, is like now it's leave our mark. Because I would, if it was, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you this, is like the people that went like super defensive on this and like, oh my God, we're abandoning it. Like what we really should be saying is like leave our mark is not something that you can say at a game where you're like, this would be the worst branding move ever. And then the clause, how about this? Is it went from that picture that you just put up, like the little scratch marks.
yeah.
Like it's like, are they going to be on the jerseys? Are they going to be this? And it's like a phone wallpaper.
Yeah, it really is.
That's all it is.
It's
Yeah.
a weird thing
these
to kind
guys
of
are-
hype up.
These poor people were like the graphic designer that spent like 82 hours making these 4 claw marks, and he just broke the internet. And then salesman, by the way, big shout out to salesman.
Yeah.
Who went on this rampage of leave our mark on, it was on Matt Rule's forehead. It was on, oh my God, it was Sam Darnold drawing the Panther. It was hilarious.
Yeah, he did the Rock
Cody,
Hill.
you
look.
got involved in this though, right out the gate. You were
I mean,
part
yeah,
of it.
I just put, I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna keep pounding. But I really don't know why every team every year now has to put forth like some sort of mantra for the season coming up. Like I don't really understand it. But
What
since
was
it's
Matt Rule's? CK, do you remember? It was it wasn't do your job, or it was something like that.
Oh,
It was
God,
based
what was
off
it?
of the Patriots one.
oh
I think it wasn't do your job.
oh
It was-
DBO, don't be ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
that's
remember
it.
they had the DBO sign in training camp, and if you messed up, you had to run and touch the sign.
Oh yeah, run a lap or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think
But-
callers, the number's 252-228-5098, were you part of the reactionary group? And to me, and not only going past the keep pounding, is like, are they going to be on the helmets? Are they going to be on this? Actually, I think a claw mark on the helmet or somewhere could
Would
be
be pretty
cool.
sick.
That
Yeah.
could be cool.
Yeah, I think so too. My question before we take any calls is, what specific way do you want the Panthers to leave their mark in 2025? I'll go first and be very short. I want to break some more rushing records. We did it a few years ago with Steve Wilkes. I think we have the potential between Chuba Hubbard, who we'll talk about in a minute, Rico Dowdle, now Trevor Etienne, this incredible offensive line with a bunch of depth. I want to see us continue to break some all-time Panthers rushing records. How
You know
about
why
y'all?
he said that, CK, is because he came out here and was like, oh, it's going to be better than double treble. So like he needs that. He needs that mark to be made.
Yeah.
Do you have a mark that the Panthers want to leave?
Yeah, the mark that I would say that I want the Panthers to leave is that we are a high-flying offense, but that we have a defense that you don't want to face at the same time. I know that sounds super generalistic, and it doesn't really, I think that when I look back to the Panthers' best seasons, they always seem to be some combination of our offense being explosive, but also our defense being like Stonewall.
It has every Panthers team that has been great has had. It's like built like the wife in the back, like a marriage that's great where you have a good wife. Like the defense has not kept it, but made that house, and then the offense takes over. My mark that I want us to make or to leave is on the NFC South.
True.
And that is, and look, Dan Morgan has talked about like what their goals are. He was on, and if we did it in the last show, he was on Rich Eisen's show, and he's like, our goal is to win the NFC South, get a home playoff game, and work towards a Super Bowl. For me, I want the mark the Panthers to make is them ruining the Falcons, the Saints, and humbling the 9-8 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I don't know if that's a 10 weeks. Like, you can do that. I mean, I would love to do it in a way that wasn't a 9-8 season, because I always get irritated when people are like, oh, you can win the South if you just win 8 or 9 games. Like, I hate that concept. Like, oh, that's all, we're going to back into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I want to leave our mark in this division and start by really punishing the people that I dislike, which are Falcons fans, Saints fans, and actually in this order: Falcons fans, Saints fans, Tampa Bay fans. Win that division. And I think if you win the division this year, even if it is backing in, it will propel you or set you in what the idea of 1-2 next year can be, the 12-win season, the 11-win season. The mark needs to be progress.
True.
That's what the mark
100%.
really needs to be, is straight up progress. If we make progress, it will keep everybody happy. The other mark we need is to not effing suck.
Yes, that's a big one
Because
right there.
it has been talking to people about my podcast, like, and we've been doing it so long. Like, Cody, like 6 years ago, our numbers were. How is it that our numbers were fucking incredible? Like, it has been a slog on Panther fans. They need it. The people in this chat are the most.
We do need it. Yeah, but you know what, man? This pod is about all the incredible members of the C3 Legion who are in the car with us every single game day, ready to talk Panther football and be a part of the action. Tony Dunn, I think we need to take some cat calls, let the people have their voice heard at 252-228-5098. Be a part of the longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
Don't forget to stick around before you hit that intro. Don't forget to stick around. The giveaway's happening tonight for historic Panther memorabilia, and it's not here. Let me show you what we're about to give away in a little while. And guess what? We're going to do it in the third. It's going to be different each time. So this week's winner gets a Cam Wow, 2 car flags for your car when you go to the game, because we're riding to the game. And most importantly, this is a metal. Look, man, look, the tack, like the tack that was on the stadium. This is from the stadium. Hard metal. Be careful. You scrape yourself. They are not perfect. Like, I mean, they are like in good shape, but like these were hanging in Bank of America before the renovations. This is a big metal logo for the Carolina Panthers. We'll be giving this away tonight. And in the third Tuesday of each month for the entire season, we'll be doing a giveaway, or continuing forward. I have like 20 more of these, and I got some other things that came off like the back of seats, NFL logos. So you guys continue to hang out with the C3 Panthers podcast tonight and in the future, and you can win. That is what you would say is like stadium memorabilia.
Yeah, that really
figure
is
out how to
stadium.
say it. Like it's not just a logo. It was literally lifted.
That is a literal artifact of Panthers history.
Artifact.
Hey, you're a regular archaeologist out here, brother.
I'm a historian. I'm an archaeologist. I'm an anthropologist.
Absolutely, man.
All of those things. Cody, the number's 252-228-5098. Let's take some calls.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
You know who the fuck it is. Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka!
Can you hear it? Please say you can hear it.
I would turn it up a little.
Boys, what's good with your CK? What's good with your Cody?
Yeah, there we go.
And what's Gucci with my white Italian brother? What's good with my motherfucking dogs, y'all? Hey, man,
Baby, what's up?
We got to get into. Your boy is back like the famous Jet Jackson, and I'm out here serving fucking hot takes, man. I got a lot to fucking say. I've been seeing a lot of fuck shit on the fucking net, as y'all fucking young
G baby never changes.
on the fucking net. Yeah,
There's
I've been
no
seeing a lot of
off switch.
fucking tit-tat and
No.
jacking motherfuckers. Hey, just know my eyes and ears are everywhere. Let's fucking get into it. Let's start with Tuba fucking Hubbard. Y'all
love
fucking
him.
Lord and fucking Savior.
Let's
Jesus
go.
fucking Christ himself, man. Quote unquote.
This
the
baby's
Panthers plan on
blasphemous.
winning the Super Bowl. Quote unquote. I think we're the closest we have ever been, and he stamped that shit. Well, you know what, Chuba Hubbard? You have a lot to fucking say for just being an average fucking running back on this motherfucking team.
What?
You have so much to fucking
Bro.
say. How about we focus on just, let's say, going 500? Y'all know the last time we went 500, just being above 500, it was in 2017 when we went 11-5. That was 8 fucking years ago. So within the past 8 fucking years, we haven't even been a 500 fucking ball team. And I got fucking this bitch ass nigga Chuba fucking Hubbard telling me, trying to tell me, a motherfucking real ass fan that I am. I've been a fan my whole entire life of the Carolina Panthers. And
I like what you
since their
said, G.
existence, is telling me the Panthers plan on winning the goddamn Super Bowl.
That's
And I
right,
think
G,
it's the
baby.
closest we've ever been.
All the
last
way.
time I fucking checked, we had the worst defense in NFL fucking history last year. But I got this bitch ass nigga right
It's
here
a
telling
new
me
year,
we're
G.
about to fucking make a Super Bowl run, man. And this
It's a
is
new
shit I'm
year.
fucking talking about with Tuba Hubbard. Nigga got so much to fucking say since he's sleeping in them stilts
Love it.
with that big ass fucking bag that he has, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. But I got motherfuckers like Ease and Panther fucking
Dude,
baby
G-Baby is
Pickle
back.
and motherfucking
He's gonna
Cody
dominate
Lack
the
trying to
calls
over here
tonight.
telling me to
He got
fucking
3
Tuba
of
Hubbard,
them.
their fucking Lord and Savior, fucking Jesus Christ, man. Y'all know who the fuck it is. I'm back, and fucking my white Italian brother, I got 2 more motherfucking calls, man.
I know you do, and we're gonna get them. Don't worry. And
It's so weird to
G-Baby
me.
and I
who-
have a special connection. First of all,
We all do. G baby,
but y'all be
it's
fighting each other.
it's
but
so weird to me who G baby decides to love and hate for virtually no reason at all. But for those of you who didn't know, Triple Hubbard was in the news, and again, Tony, we're in the news for the weirdest shit to me sometimes. But Triple
I think
Hubbard
he was too hard on Chuba's comments.
Oh yeah, dude, G baby is wilding out. Chuba is one of the very best players on this football team, and Chuba Hubbard says that the plan is to win the Super Bowl this year. That's always been the goal.
Well, is that what he said? Well, okay.
Yeah, that's his
Says
quote. That's
always been the goal, which any coach, player, GM would ever say, right? So that's not a controversial statement. Like the goal is to. Look, I should probably, my eyes, they really have gone down in the last 6 months. That is the goal this year. I think we're the closest we've ever been.
So
and to be
really.
honest, for his entire career,
I mean, he's not wrong.
He is not wrong on that. And G baby, look, as a person who my wheelman was a Chuba. Like
I've been a defender. I've been dying on this hill, bro.
And I was a hater, and now I'm a appreciator, and all these different things. He does have cool gear. We saw him in the hotel last year, CK, and he had them retro. Like those had to be like custom. There's no way those pants were those sweatpants were ever made, really. Like, it's like they were so 90s that they were too 90s. How did they get made? It was wonderful. Breakout year last year. Bell cow. I mean, pounds the rock. He's gotten way better at not dropping it. I tell you, I have seen a giant change in his game. And yeah, I was critical, but I always said he always looked like he was ahead of his skis. Like he was running with crazy force and speed, but it was like a baby giraffe that had just got born. And last year, or maybe the last 2 years, his center of body is more under him. Like he's not like falling forward for those yards. I think, Cody, you're on to something about this running back duo being powerful. I think you went overboard in saying like it's going to be the best ever, but I know that's why you doubled down. I don't think what he said, though, it's kind of like this claw marks is like, gee, baby, is this really we are closer. We are a 7-win team rather than a 5-win team. Like you're not. Yeah, it is not. Who is the? Gosh, why am I having a brain fart?
By the way, G-Baby will also tell you that Jonathan Brooks is a better running back than Chuba Hubbard.
Well, he would if he.
And even then, I don't think he would. Dude, Chuba Hubbard.
No. Ifs and buts. What do you say? Go ahead and say it.
No, I said if my aunt had nuts, she'd be my uncle.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. What are we even talking about, dude?
If he was, he certainly would be. That must,
there ain't no if about it. Dude, if you're not available, you're not playing football. And the fact of the matter is, we're going to go the entire 2025 season without seeing Jonathan Brooks even one time.
That's
and
real.
There's
and
a reason
Chuba
they paid Chuba.
Chuba is a better running back until Jonathan Brooks plays, but we saw that man. That man could be like an Adrian Peterson, dude. He was. It's going to go down as one of those stories, or I hope it doesn't, but it looks like it, as like one of the greatest could be's. As ruined by injury.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what happens to him from here. I also agree with Panther Gal that the Panthers sort of mishandled it. They really just sort of brought him back at the end of the season for nothing.
Right.
When there was nothing on the line, and now we ended up re-injuring his knee and, ruining his chances at even seeing him in 2025.
It really is a very sad story I won't say sad story. Like one day maybe we'll have him on like we had Wesley Walls, but hopefully not 23 years after he retired. But the idea of what is the pressure as a player to try to get on the field, right? Like, is the organization pressuring you? Do you want to get on the field so much? This and that. I don't think the Panthers should have just shelved him for the entire year. Once they didn't bring him out in training camp, they should have shelved him for the whole year. Chuba Hubbard, though, has become a force for the Panthers. He is real. He's good. He's very good. He's very good, and I'm very happy that we have him. G-Baby, a little hard on him. This is not like,
more than a little.
This was what I was circling back to. Who was Khalil? Ryan Khalil.
Yeah, this is a good point that you bring up.
Ryan Khalil. This statement right here that Chuba Hubbard made is a nonchalant player statement. It's like, hey, we're working. We always want to win a Super Bowl. We're better than we were last year. That's all he said, right? Like, we're that's better than we were last year. Our goal is to win the Super Bowl. This is not Ryan Khalil in 2012 taking out the full page ad in the Charlotte Observer that says guaranteed Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But the internet makes it that way.
Well, you know how we've been talking about Dave Canales and how he's talked about there is an energy on this team. Adam Thielen talked about it. It does feel like there's something of a youth movement happening with this team. And I feel guys like Chuba and Adam Thielen, they feel that happening. They feel the energies in that locker room changing. And just like Wesley Walls said that there was a family vibe, a family atmosphere. I don't know if family is the word that people in that locker room
Not anymore. Now it's
used to describe it. Yeah, but if there is a youthful energy to want to go out there and assert yourselves and show that the Panthers are no longer just a bottom feeder, and to use our new mantra, they want to go out there and leave their mark. Leave their mark. Well, it's leave our mark, but
you know what? Actually, we should have been on the team.
I know.
The promo team, and we should have said it should have been make our mark.
Yeah, it really should have been
make our mark, not leave our mark. Make our mark. Oh my gosh!
They
I'm
need
already
us.
in advertising.
Panthers, reach out to us, man.
We can help you out.
Yeah, man. Tell me, let's take another one.
All right, we'll do one more.
Kyle was. I thought Kyle had one next too.
All right, we'll come back. Look.
Yeah, let's do.
We'll do Kyle, and then.
By the way, shout out to Kyle for making that incredible intro that we played before Wesley Walls came in. That was purely him being a fan, wanting to add to the show.
This is what we need.
Kyle, you're the man, bro. We love you, bro.
We're a crowdsourced. It's just us.
Yeah, for the fans, by the fans, literally.
Like, we actually need you to come up with ideas for segments. Email Cody.
Hit me up. Hit me up. Shout out to Diesel Skills too. Always doing awesome stuff.
We'll
man.
take the next call.
Hey guys, you know who this is. It's Panther Pickle. I don't understand why people don't comprehend.
I didn't get a Kyle call.
910 is his number.
To leave your mark. Let these young kids leave their mark. Let Bryce Young leave his mark. Let Tyrone McMillan leave his mark. Let Cade Mays leave his mark. Let Xavier Legette and Chuba Hubbard leave their mark on the NFL. They're doing great. Shout out to my man G Baby. Boy, you need to shut your mouth and don't put my man Cade Mays' name come out of your lips. All right, he's the best center on this roster, and you dudes keep your mouth off Chuba Hubbard. Y'all, you G Baby, you can shut the hell up. And you know what? You make me sick. You know that, G Baby. You lucky. You live over there on the West Coast. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Look, man. We love the inter C3 rivalries. We have some strong opinions amongst the boys, man. But I don't know. I've said this for a while. CK. Chuba Hubbard is probably like my favorite guy on this roster right now. Like what he's been able to do, how he's been able to evolve. Chuba Hubbard's one of my best players, and G Baby's been starting a bunch of shit with people about Chuba and Cade Mays, and everybody's entitled to their opinion, but Cade Mays and Chuba Hubbard, I feel like, going to be a big part of this team this year. Who did you think is going to be our center? CK, did you think it'll be Austin Corbett, or did you think Cade Mays ultimately wins the job?
Dude, that is such a hard question, because I think that I would put it on I think it's Cade Mays' job to lose right now. But I don't think it's going to be hard for him to potentially take over. Now, that doesn't mean that I think Cade Mays is going to be bad. I just think that I think Austin Corbett has a longer track record of being a proven offensive lineman in the league. And I think they're going to value the experience over the potential of Cade Mays right now.
Now, do you worry about the injury history of Austin Corbett?
Yeah, but that's the beauty of this offensive line. Like, that's right now, I feel like something that we haven't been able to say in a long time is, like, we have not only a good offensive line, we have good depth. Like, I would argue we have probably the best depth in the entire league. with what we have on the offensive line right now. Now, there are going to be people who have a different take when it comes to their opinion on, the left tackle position or what have you. But I mean, to have our line be pretty much solidified, even if you were to say Austin Corbett's the center, right? To have our line be solidified with Austin Corbett, Icky, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, Taylor Moton, while still having Cade Mays, Brady Christensen, things like that. I mean, like, dude, it's hard not to look at this and feel like there's some things that are going our way for it,
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. I'm right now I'm sort of torn. I think they would probably prefer Austin Corbett, but if Cade Mays is the guy, I think they're prepared to let him be the center of the future, and I kind of think so. I kind of think he will be, but I don't know. It'll be an interesting camp, that's for sure. So I found Kyle's call. Let's listen to what Kyle had to say, man.
What's up, y'all? This is 910 Kyle out here in Wilmington. I just wanted
Kyle,
to say, man, y'all are doing a great job. Great show, as always.
Thank you, brother.
And I mean, you got to be crazy not to think that this C3 community is not the strongest and the best Panthers community in all of the internet. When we're talking about the Panthers, this team, this group has optimism. We have faith. We have understanding. And more than anything, we have camaraderie upon ourselves. Make sure everybody that's watching this video gives it a thumbs up, hits that subscribe button, and comes in for the Friday free-for-all in just a couple of days. Tony, Cody, CK, and my friend Bad Daddy, keep pounding.
Keep pounding, man. Listen, we are only as strong as the C3 Legion. And like I said, Kyle, thank you so much for making that intro video.
Absolutely.
Thank you to Diesel Skills, Panther Pickle, for always running the C3 spaces, always giving fans an opportunity to be a part of this Panther discussion. Couldn't do it without y'all, boys.
And we wouldn't do it without y'all.
We damn sure wouldn't.
Man, ultimately, think about that and like Kyle brought it up, is the whole mantra of the entire show has been, what is the message or the philosophy of the show? Is we're in the car riding to the game, talking
Panther football
shit,
with the
talking
boys,
about shit about
man.
Panther football, life, this and that,
sir.
and then we're on the way back. Don't worry, the post game's coming back. Well, not don't worry, don't fret. Wait until that post game hits this year.
I cannot wait for their post game
big
shows.
Big fire,
dude! It's gonna
you
be
better
awesome.
stick around. Your calls are still coming, but we got to get a little bit more into the show.
Yeah, man. So this happened. Justin Simmons has been a player that's on the tip of everyone's tongue. The Carolina Panthers were rumored to have interest in Justin Simmons, and apparently we did talk to Justin Simmons and his people. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN revealed that the Panthers were eager to discuss the possibility of signing Simmons. The senior insider also confirmed the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles were in the mix. With that Fangio connection, which would be the preferred destination for anyone. But the Panthers have spoken to Simmons' representatives, according to Joe Person. Nothing is imminent right now, which poured cold water on the potential acquisition almost as quickly as the rumors surfaced. Mentioned Panthers free agent Justin Simmons as a possibility for the Panthers. Carolina has talked to Simmons, but nothing is imminent as of right now. So, boys, I know we do this every Tuesday almost. We're another will they, won't they signing. But does this make sense for the Panthers? And do you think Dan Morgan would pull the trigger on something like Justin Simmons?
It has to make sense. I mean, of course it makes sense. The Panthers had two safeties coming in, three safeties coming into the draft, right? The 2 free agents we got and the one we brought back from last year, who was like a 6th-round pick. We drafted who's the guy from Ohio State that we drafted?
Lathan Ransom, who I'm very excited about this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's great T-shirt opportunities for pay the ransom.
Yeah,
ransom
man.
to the Falcons. I don't know. We're gonna have to work on that. C3 Legion's gonna have to really help us because we gotta step up. We need a real good T-shirt, like not game, but like something that we put in. We need to leave our mark on T-shirts, like the G Baby. What was the G Baby one?
You make me effing sick.
You make me effing sick.
Then we had Pickle shut down.
We need a good ransom like these work for us.
Yeah,
but
man.
Yes, it totally makes sense. Is the Panthers don't have any safeties. You did go out to free agency. Are you going to then create like free agency starter controversy or something like that? No, but totally. And why though? Look, he's let's see, he's 93. He was born in 93. So what does that make him?
That makes him 32, 33. Yeah, he's a little bit older, but whenever you hear fans talk about what position groups have the least amount of depth, safety is normally the one that comes up first.
For us, is like 0.
And
like,
how much faith
depth
do you have in Damani Richardson? Like, I think we would all
that's
love
the guy.
it.
That's the name I'm looking for. You know what? We have hopefulness. We have optimism about this, but I think the question, CK, for all the people that are, when every name comes up and Panthers like, this is the best part of the year because every player fits. It's like every trade works, every player fits. Is this a 1-year type deal? Is it a 2? You know what I'm saying? Like a veteran friendly, but also team friendly, or is this a real move? CK, what do you think about adding? Do the Panthers need to add in a significant way? And I'll let you follow up, Cody. Is this a big sign? And if you want to interject, go ahead, and Cody, and tell you, is this something that you got to pay big money? I think that what's the guy from Green Bay?
Jair Alexander.
Right. Like you got to pay money to get this. Is this a pay money situation, or is it a, like you can get a good player like a Roman Harbor deal?
If you're asking me, I think that this is an opportunity for the prove it deal. Because I mean, I do think that obviously Justin Simmons isn't going to be as expensive as Jair. I think Jair is not going to be as expensive as people think either, by the way, just based on his injury history. So I think both of these guys could be 1-year bargain bin type of situations. I don't think that they want that, which is why they're only probing for interest right now. I think Justin Simmons is looking for something a little bit more stable long-term, as they should, logically. But anybody who's going to offer them that is not going to offer them the amount of money that they want. So I think they're going to eventually have to take a 1-year deal.
Which actually, CK, I just looked him up, like his history.
Yeah.
Last year he signed 2024. He signed a 1-year, $7.5 million contract with Atlanta. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so he took a 1-year deal already. So he is that type of player that's in that range.
Did that show? Did he prove what he needed to prove to be able to be warranting more than that? Is the question, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, is he a name that people are familiar with, right? Like, as like you've heard his name, or is he a player that can truly help? Cody?
So, listen, I would love, obviously, to sign a Justin Simmons. I think if we're able to do it for a cheap amount, I would love to. I think that if the Panthers did indeed call on Justin Simmons, it probably is because he had a price tag that was a little bit higher than what they're looking to pay. I really want to see Ransom make an actual impact on this team.
Right.
I know that is a little bit pie in the sky because we are depending on a 4th round rookie draft pick to be able to step up and be a starter. So I understand that's a lot of lofty expectations. I'm just a part of those people that I don't love the idea of Damani Richardson being a full-time starter. Not saying that it's terrible, but what would I prefer? Damani Richardson and Trevon Moore, or Trevon Moore and Justin Simmons? I would love that a lot better. And he has a lot of prior history with the Jero Rivero because they worked together when Simmons was in Denver and Rivero was in Denver. So that's why I think the Panthers were even in that mix at all. I would love for this to happen. But listen, Tony, we've learned our lesson, man. Like,
I was going to put this up on you.
But hold on, I got it. StreamYard does this sometimes.
This is what I went. First, I Googled this. It's just about him. And then it said personal life in the Wikipedia. He got married when he was a baby in 2016.
How old was he?
2016. So, what is it? When was he married? When was he born? 93.
93.
Yeah, I mean, he was young. He got married, and I think he's still married, which I think is incredible. Simmons married his high school sweetheart, Taryn Richardson, in 2016.
So he was 23 years old.
So I think that anyway. But I was Googling him, and this is what Falcon Reddit. Here you go. You really want to know?
Yeah.
This is Falcons Reddit. Was Justin Simmons good? And I haven't looked at it yet. There are many games I forgot he was on the team.
Oh, no.
Good. He's lucky.
Yeah, but remember, Falcons fans are perpetually jaded.
Yeah, and they suck. And
they suck. So
they did. No, but he wasn't bad either. Not worth the money. When a guy's a free agent, and I mean, obviously, if you're a Falcons fan, you're very jaded after last year.
For sure.
Not very happy. And also, by the way, Reddit people are never happy.
No, never. They're miserable.
They are the most miserable group on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But they will solve, if you want to figure out why your grease trap has herpes, they can tell you.
Do you want to take some more calls?
We only have G Baby left.
Dude, that was unless I downloaded the wrong ones.
Did you download more calls? How many did you download? Because if you downloaded some, I downloaded. They don't show up as new on my app.
Let me see. 902. No, I think I got them all. Do you have any other ones on yours?
From G Baby, and that's it.
Do you have an 808?
808. See, I have an 830. Did you play this one? Oh, you're reading. You gotta read the last four. Anyway, no. All right. Now I see what happens when you downloaded them. They mark them as red.
Yeah.
All right, I got you.
Tell me if I need to download some because I have.
No. It's better for me to play them now because I can control.
Yeah, and
by the way, do you see? I'm in a home. I'm in a studio. I got it. All right, here we go. I have a soundboard.
808 is JD too.
JD again, man. I'm out here driving.
Wait, hold on. Let's see it. Yeah, all right. This is his first call tonight. 8:34 p.m.
One of the mountains out here on the Wahoo, and I think they killed my signal. But what I was trying to say earlier, the whole thing with names and strength, power, that whole 9 yards. Again, it could just be me overthinking a fairly simple nickname that people wanted to give them. But like I said, I think there's strength. There's more to than just giving somebody a name. Anyway, didn't too much care for either nickname. Alabama Bryce, I didn't really care for the Reaper. I thought the Reaper was really corny. And then I forget what podcast I was listening to, and I don't even think the podcaster realized it when he said it. Older gentleman, Southern drawl, the way he said the names when he said them together, it reminded me of an urban legend. Like it gave me goosebumps. Like I was.
What is he even talking about?
About somebody or a group of kids doing something in the South where they had no business being, and they were about to be taught a lesson in the worst way. Like, it sounded like an urban myth.
Emmett
Urban
Till.
legend. Like, when you say his nicknames together, Alabama Bryce and the Carolina Reaper, am I the only person that gets goosebumps from this shit? Like,
Yeah, but it gives you Emmett Till vibes.
It's like it's power and strength in names.
Carolina
Reaper
Reaper
is going to be a season where those names come into play quite a damn bit. Like, you don't want to see Bryce out there on the field looking like he did when he was at Alabama. You don't want to see Alabama Bryce. If you see him, your defense is going to be in for a very bad day.
Oh, I hear what you're saying now.
Yeah.
If Bryce the game's been close, the Panthers and whoever they're playing, it's been a very close game, and it's the final drive of the game, and Bryce Young is walking out onto the field. The last thing you want to see in that situation is the Carolina Reaper. Like, true enough, like, the names fit like a motherfucker, and when you stay them together, like, it's
he
like,
doesn't like Carolina Reaper?
Man, the comments from Chuba, just the additions we made in free agency, the excitement that's building around this team, I'm finding it harder and harder day in and day out. So, like, I'm trying to
I got
calm
something I want to
myself
say.
down, but like, I'm over here, I'm writing stories. I'm trying to come up with a book. I'm trying to tell a story for what I'm seeing the Carolina Panthers do with this team and what I think the team is going to be this season. Like, all the pieces are there. We saw our offense clicking last year, and we running it back there. We made a ton.
Was that the end of the call?
It's like way too much.
It's all. It's all.
It's way too much good. Way too much going in the right direction. Trying to temper expectations, but you got Chuba out here talking about Chuba been on some damn good time in his entire career.
All right, here's the last part. He's got one last short part.
Yeah.
Right here.
C3, Justin again. Third call. Ignore that first. If you guys can already ignore it. Anyway, yeah, man. You got Chuba out here talking about trying to get to the Super Bowl. That's the goal. And the way he phrased it, like, that man sees what that defense is looking like day in and day out. Like, those are his coworkers. So we can speculate at how good the defense might be, but as a professional, Chuba having seen what good defenses look like, Steven having seen what good defense look like, and they over here talking their talk, and it's only making it harder for me to quell my expectations. Still want to call in and share that silly little thought I had about Bryce's nickname. If anybody agree with me, feel free to speak your piece on it. If I'm tripping, overthinking it, again, speak your piece on it.
I'm in the tripping and overthinking it.
Well, let me go first on this
can't
one.
get here quick enough, man. But hey, y'all keep doing what y'all do. For the love of all things holy,
Appreciate you.
Keep counting.
Appreciate you, JD. So listen, I'm going to be a little bit of a contrarian, right? All the nicknames for Bryce Young are fucking corny right now. All of them. Even the Carolina Reaper. And here's why. Because Bryce Young has to go off this season for any of them to matter. Bryce Young was only a good quarterback down the stretch last year for the Carolina Panthers. He has not had any sustained success in the NFL. So associating him with either of these names right now,
right. He shouldn't even have a nickname.
Yeah, you don't. As of this moment, nothing that we have seen is deserving of a nickname. This year, he has to earn the nickname. And I'm a firm believer of you never come up with your own. A really good nickname has to be bestowed upon you. Some of these feel forced. They feel like they're trying to make them happen. Remember, for a little while, Julius Peppers was the Carolina Reaper. You know, and then,
no, he wasn't.
Yeah, because when he came back? At the end, yeah.
Oh, when he came back.
Yeah,
okay.
his first time around.
That Pepper didn't even exist.
Yeah, it wasn't even in existence. Right,
Okay.
but right now, they all feel a little bit forced to me. Talk to me at the end of this season, and then we can talk about a nickname for Bryce Young. That's personally how I feel.
I think the Reaper should have been. It should be a temporary nickname because they did give. Like, remember he was like ending people's careers, and not him, but the Panthers were also ending like Daniel Jones, or I don't even remember the names, but like remember like somebody got fired. Who was it, CK?
I mean, there was a few. I think there wasn't something to do with we ruined Arizona's playoff hopes. Was it Arthur Smith got fired after we beat them? When that would happen?
Not Arthur Smith.
No. That was the year before. Never mind. It was a
but
few,
yeah,
like
there were these things that like you got beat by the worst team or given something. So I think that should have been a temporary moniker. I think Daniel Jones was one of those. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. Maybe.
But still, I think it's like a temporary one. The other thing is like for me, it doesn't bring back. And I don't know. I mean, like whatever you guys feel about it, you can feel about it. But like it's like the Reaper pepper is actually a new existent agricultural product. So it's not like you're pinning something on this past legacy of agriculture and society and race or something. You know what I mean? Like is that well, I think it needs to be like this is that if he comes out and I'm going to put my nickname out for him right out the gate. Like if he comes out and slanging, I think it should be Young Gun.
I mean, there's logic behind that. You know, I think it makes sense. Something like that. I don't hate the ones that we have right now. Now I don't disagree with the take that he has to earn those. But I will tell you, like last season, he did earn those for at least the duration of the end of last season. And that's because it's similar to the Riverboat Ron situation, right? Riverboat Ron it wasn't an entire season of him deciding to go for it on fourth down that they started to call him Riverboat Ron, right? He was the most conservative coach in the NFL up until that he got that moniker. And it didn't take an entire season for that to happen.
Him to be a coach, he really wasn't.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, like he tried to embrace Riverboat, and it wasn't him. I don't like Cody said, we need natural nicknames. And last year that was a temporary one. You don't come out like I don't think they brand him as the Carolina Reaper right out of the gate. Now, if he goes and gets some other jobs ruined, we might have to stick with it.
What I missed.
Well, we were just talking about like what you were saying is like a nickname is naturally acquired, right? And the Reaper nickname for that time last year was a naturally acquired nickname because I think he got a coach fired. He got you know what I'm saying? He got a quarterback dismissed. Like they're going to the bench. But we think Carolina Reaper is a temporary nickname.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
like it's not like his moniker. And what I put forward, Cody, was if he comes out slinging, I say Young Gun. Young Guns 2.
See, I think he's got to have
that was a good
bit.
movie.
I think he's got a little because he's only going to be a Young Gun. That's also a temporary one, right?
Well, his name is Young.
I know, but like even with that, like I don't think that would be. I know we're weird. This is a weird conversation to have. Like, it's like what should it be?
The only thing I want to call Bryce Young is clutch. That's the only thing I want to call him.
Well,
if there's another, that's what I'm saying. But if I'm calling Bryce Young clutch, it means that he earned it. It means that he's going out there when the game is on the line, winning football games. To me, that is when he's going to earn these nicknames. That's why I said up until now, they don't mean anything to me. Bama Bryce is a thing of the past.
BY9,
Carolina Reaper, that has to be able to stick.
That's fine. Like we're down with that BY9, right? Like, you're right. As you don't it's not earn a nickname, it's bestowed on you.
Yes.
Like he has
100%.
to do something that, and not that he hasn't done something, but last year he did ruin some people's days. And that's where the Reaper came about.
Kev likes Ant-Man.
That's messed up.
So I do have some more calls that I don't know if you picked up. Or let's play this one.
Yo, my C3 family. D. Stanford, North Carolina. Shout out to the great Tony Dunn. To the homie Cody Lack. The CK Cold Dizzle. To my brothers from another mother. Cole. My brother from another mother. These Hill Skills. Jake, you know I love you, boy. Pamper Pickle, you know you my dude. Hey, Muscle Marinara, that effing guy. Hope everything is all right with you. What a beautiful day to call in. You got Wesley Walls. I really do hope that Wesley's still on when this call's played. If not, hey, oh well. But like I had said in the spaces earlier, the reason why I find this to be monumental, I had been with the Panthers since their exception. I was younger. I was in my young teens at that point, and Wesley Walls was one of those first Panthers that I could identify with that produced on this squad. He was a guy that with his game, it exemplified keep pounding, even though it hadn't been established yet. Man, think about it. Everybody loves their Greg Olsons. They love their Jeremy Shockeys. But you got to remember, Wesley is the special one because he was the first great. He was the first great Panther tight end. And as great as Greg Olson was and Jeremy Shockey is, Wesley Walls was the standard. He was the one of one before time and evolution kicked in. At least for the Carolina Panthers. And so now we move on, and I think about this Panther team, and you have the Wesley Walls, the energy of the Wesley Walls and the Steve Smiths and the Luke Kuechly's and the Thomas Davises and so forth, and how they've become more ingratiated with the future of this team and not just a past and afterthought. Now the tradition is brewing, and now the whole, what it means to be a Panther and what keep pounding means is really starting to exemplify, and that's going to show on that field. You see the fire with JC and Bryce going back and forth. These guys are being competitive, and I can't wait. But just remember, if you ain't with us now, you ain't welcome to the parade. I love every single one of you.
Keep pounding.
You pounded.
Yeah, definitely the first great Panthers tight end.
And really a changing of the game tight end.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
asked him about that as he really was. He's putting up 700 yards. Right. It's what we at then, CK? Was that still, it was a 16 game season then by that point, right? He was talking, I mean, if you look at his catch number, it was 50, 40, 50, 30 to 50 catches a year. And he's putting up 700 yards, and he had 12. There was multiple. He was a touchdown threat, Cody. Like, that's the real deal about it, is not only was he was a passing threat, but he was a red zone entity.
Some would say Kerry Collins, number one option in the red zone, right?
Yeah. Well, he did it with so many quarterbacks. I know he mentioned Kerry Collins, but he did one of his breakout season was with Steve Berline, right? And then Kerry Collins.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. It kind of forecasts. He mentioned a couple of players. He mentioned Antonio Gates and his Mount Rushmore. And we were obviously holding him to so much more time than he committed to, in a sense.
He was awesome.
But like Antonio Gates also represents a different change. Like, so if Wesley Walls and them are this beginning of a guy that can be an offensive threat, right? Not only just a red zone threat, but putting up yards and doing this. Antonio Gates represents we can find a great tight end on the basketball court. Because Antonio Gates had never played tight end. Like, he was a basketball player, and then you think of like what this has become. Really great night. Thank you, the Hope Dealer, for that call. Cody,
man.
Play the next one that you downloaded, and then
I have three more that I don't think you touched. So I got them.
To the charismatic CK, the tenacious Tony Dunn.
That's the one
and
we
yes,
just heard,
the
right?
incomparable Cody Lack.
Yep.
What's going on, boys? This ain't nobody but your boy CP, the Vintage Retro
You're
Man,
right.
North Carolina's neighborhood hope dealer.
What's up, buddy?
C3 Legion. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday, brother.
Hey, I'm excited. First and foremost, man, before I get into any Panthers stuff, really excited, man. I just want to let the Legion know that in my family, man, I had a son to graduate high school, and my oldest daughter actually graduated college, man, over at North Carolina.
Congrats, brother.
So I'm really ecstatic about that, man. My kids. So, we all got to find things to be hopeful for, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Life
sir.
is worth living. Now, to our Panthers. It's been some hate, man, on something that Chuba Hubbard said here recently. People been hating on him, man, because he said that the Panthers plan on going to the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl or something like that. But here's my thing, whether we believe it or not, what else is this man supposed to say? He's the starting running back for our team. He's a leader. I like the fact that we got players, man, that's tired of losing. I like the mentality of players that's like, hey, you know what? We're going to the playoffs. We're going to the Super Bowl, man. We need to elevate that mentality. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, once again, y'all, this the Hope Dealer, man. Everybody out there, keep safe and keep pounding. I'm out.
Keep pounding, brother. Congratulations to both your son and your daughter. That's big time. And, he's a strong member of the C3 Legion, so we appreciate you, man. I'm 100% in agreement. What else is he supposed to say? I don't want anyone.
Wasn't even controversial.
No, I don't want anyone on my team thinking that they can't make the Super Bowl. How about that?
It. Like, this is what drove me nuts about the leave our mark part, which is, what did we say it should have been? Make our mark. Should have been make our mark. And like, it's going too far with everything. It's like he did not pull an ad out in the newspaper, put a billboard up that says the Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But imagine walking in and you said, we're not better than last year. Nobody's giving Dan Morgan shit when he said, we want to win the NFC South. We want to get a home game and we want to make a push for the Super Bowl. And if anything that's great about football is that I think it was CK earlier was talking about this, or it was that same thing about like what the difference, what this could be in this. It's a reset. Every year when we get on this podcast, we're like, oh my God, you know what? It's a new year. It's a blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And it truly is. Like, last year does relate to this year, but it is a fresh season. I don't have any problems with his comments at all. And I think that this is the problem with it. And I love the internet because we're on the fucking internet doing this podcast. Like, like there's so much irony, but this is incredible.
Yeah. I had no problem with it.
My bastard son wants to know who won the contest. I did the random drawing. Should we do it right now? I've already pressed the button.
Do it. Yeah, man. So tell them.
And put me back up on the screen right here. Yep. So I have more. Don't worry. There's going to be more coming. You're going to get this gift basket, the swag bag. The most important part of this is a real relic out of Bank America Stadium. The tacky tape that was still hung up is still on the back. Look, the tissue paper is sticking to it. This is from Bank of America Stadium. They're sharp, by the way. Be careful. When I pick this box up and I have like maybe 18 more of these to give away throughout the season. Also have some different memorabilia. I got a couple of NFL logos, some cool stuff that was salvaged from Bank of America when they did the renovations. This mug is heavy. That box was difficult to pick up and display. You're going to get this. Tonight's winner is going to get a historic piece of fact from Bank of America. you're going to get, we have a couple of Cam Wows still. I hate coming away from this. I love you. I'll miss you, Cam. You're going to get 2 flags for your car. That's tonight's gift basket. You get 3 things. The way you could have entered this contest is to like, retweet, repost, Facebook like, visit the C3 Panthers podcast on YouTube and subscribe. You have to do all these different things and leave your email. Very helpful in this process. By the way, I also spent, Cody, I paid a shit ton of money for a giveaway program that tracks, right? It's called Gleam.
I saw this.
I bought a whole year for us to do this. Like,
nice.
we can do giveaways every week. We can do the 3rd Tuesday of each month. We're going to be doing a giveaway. We'll also be doing the typical best caller, worst caller type stuff. We have a real opportunity to make it not only fair, like organized and fair. So we've been running this. There were 58 entries into this one, and it randomly selects it. And I hit the button. I picked it right before. I wanted to get Wesley Walls to announce it, but Jarrell Rogers is the winner of this gift bag.
Ooh.
And I want to tell you this, why this was meaningful to me, is that Jarrell Rogers not only entered in all the ways you can, for this, but he has been listening to this podcast for over 10 years.
Nice.
And coincidentally, and this is where good favor takes you in life, like the universe comes together for good people. He sent me a message 2 weeks ago, and it was just a picture of his car listening to the podcast. He's like, still rocking. I hadn't talked to him in forever. You know what I'm saying? I hadn't talked to him forever.
So, moral of the story is Tony will fix the contest for you if you send him something that makes him feel good.
That would be cool, CK, except for I don't even have time to put the background up. I don't have time to, I barely could put the fucking shit together. I don't have time to fix anything. I hit on Gleam, boop, pick a random one. But you guys, I will tell you this, is there going to be so many more ways to continue to get your back child support, Kev. But when you go through, do all of them. Like each one gives you extra, even if you're already subscribed, right, to the channel. Like if you click the link and you do those things, like you repost, like it gives you extra entries into the contest. So you could have gotten up to 6 entries if you did all the things. And most people didn't do all the things. Most people just reposted or followed, or right, and they said, "Oh, I'm already subscribed." So click all those links, do all those things, and I have 18 or 20 more of those to give away. We've got some other memorabilia from the stadium, and we're going to be killing it this year. We'll be killing it. So, Jarrell Rogers, thank you very much. And thankfully, I know how to contact him, actually.
Yes, sir. And we only have 2 more calls, and then we can finish this thing out, man.
Yo. What's going on, T3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope you boys
What's up, man?
Tuesday, man. Just wanted to call in, talk about the Panthers a bit. Obviously, you guys are going to get this call later, but it's great to see Wesley Walls on the show, man. It's awesome to interact with former Panthers and people part of, the community here. I just wanted to give my thoughts on, the Panthers right now. I haven't really talked about them. This year, I think we should expect a big year from Bryce Young, our quarterback. I like how we're getting some recognition, and it's great to see all that on NFL films and kind of more people talking about it. It's good to see all this, but with that comes with expectations, obviously. So we need to win some games this year, man. I'm not asking us to make the Super Bowl. I'm not asking. I know that's what Chuba said, obviously, but I'm not asking us to do that. Maybe just make the damn playoffs, man. The division, it's a low bar. It has been for a while, and I mean, that's really all I got on my mind right now. I mean, it feels like kind of a dead period. I think this team should go out and sign a cornerback or a safety, maybe. I still feel like there needs to be some depth on defense. But overall, I mentioned this on the free-for-all, I think, or my last call, which was like 2 weeks ago. But this roster definitely looks way more improved than it did 2 years ago. I mean, 2 years ago was a disaster. I was talking to my buddy the other day about it. He's just like, oh, my God. Like, yeah, 2023 was the most dreadful season to watch, and just how much the roster has changed. And there's a lot of good things on the rise, man. There definitely is. I just don't want to get my hopes completely up. I still, like, I'm going to be honest, I like the roster. Like, I liked a lot of the moves they made, and I haven't been able to say that about an offseason in a very long time. Obviously, last year they did some good stuff. But again, like, this is kind of what I preached when Dan Morgan got hired. It's just like, it's going to take some time. I know we didn't want to say that, but like, he was never going to be able to rebuild the whole roster in one off season. So this past off season, you kind of saw like the second part of that of, building this roster to where it needs to be. There's a lot of high hopes, a lot of good young players that should develop this upcoming season. I have a lot of high hopes for a lot of guys we drafted. Obviously, T-Mac, the two edge guys, Trevor Etienne's cool. There's a lot of good draft picks. So I think we should be excited, definitely. Give me your thoughts. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
I mean, I agree with you. We better start winning, man. There's a lot of reasons why I think the Panthers could go from worst to first, proverbially. Obviously, if Bryce takes a step forward. But, dude, and I've said this before, Tony, CK, that these young defensive players that we drafted, they need to make an impact this year. Not like it doesn't have to maybe be the biggest, but we need to see some immediate dividends that we've been able to acquire by drafting these young defensive players. And I think we need to see that sooner than later.
You're absolutely right. There's no contesting that, because this has been 6 years of whatever rebuild we've had, right? And you have brought in players that we think about. Who was the guy that you liked from Penn State? The defensive end. He plays with the 49ers.
Tyler Warren?
No, 49ers. He was a defensive end for the Panthers. He was a second-round defensive end. I think he was from Penn State. It was like it was in the year that.
Oh, you're Tergos Matos.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we've had some investment. This is not the first investment we've had in players at position groups, whether it's tight end, whether it's defensive end, right? But what they didn't do was make an impact. Like, man, it has to happen. If it doesn't happen, we're never, like, we need that extra juice of a player that is better than they should have been. And we put a lot in this defensive front. Like, we really need it. We don't have any, like, that is what it will take. And we're waiting for it. We've been waiting so long. We're patient. I don't have a lot of expectations for rookies, particularly at specific positions like defensive end, but you're absolutely right. Like, what moves the fucking needle is when New Orleans drafted 6 players. What'd they get? They got
Alvin Kamara, Marshawn Lattimore.
Yeah.
Bell
changes the fucking.
Didn't they get Ramchick too? Ryan Ramchick.
Yeah, like,
I think was a part of that. Yeah, the Panthers need that, and that will instantly cement Dan Morgan as a Panthers legend of both the field and the front office. If we're able to have one of those types of drafts.
Oh my God! You know what? I had Dave Gettleman for president for a while.
You know, I
as
love
my moniker.
Gettleisms or Gettlemanisms that he would bestow
We need to
upon
get
us.
him on the podcast.
I know we need to figure out a way.
Let's
Well,
take
man,
these
now that I know Wesley, maybe I can get the lines moving, you know. But
Yeah,
the
maybe.
final call of the night.
Hey, guys, you know who this is. It's Panther Pickle. I don't understand why people don't comprehend leave your mark. It's just an old-fashioned term to leave your mark. Let these young kids leave their mark. Let Bryce Young leave his mark. Let
Well,
Tecro
we already
McMillan
did
leave
one.
his mark. Let
Make their
Cade
mark.
Mays leave his mark.
Mm-hmm.
Let Xavier Legette and Chuba Hubbard leave their mark
Make
on the
his
NFL. They're doing great. Shout out to my man G-Baby. Boy, you need to shut your mouth and don't put my man Cade Mays' name come out your
We
lips.
didn't do
All right?
G-Baby's
He's
calls.
the best center on this roster, and you, dude, keep your mouth off Chuba Hubbard. You, G-Baby, you can shut the hell up.
Oh, we didn't do G-Baby's final calls, did we?
I don't know. I thought
I got him right here.
He has 4.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm back like the fucking famous Jet Jackson. Let's fucking get back into this fucking ass whooping. I'm handing out ass whoopings all fucking night. Like I said, I
I
got
barely
no
even hear. I know.
on this motherfucking shit. Last thing I was saying,
I'll be
Chuba
back.
fucking Hubbard, man. I got dudes like D and fucking Baby Pickle and fucking Cody Lack all over the tip of my motherfucking dick with this fucking Chuba Hubbard shit. I got fucking media outlets just glazing the shit out of fucking
Is it
Chuba
too low?
Hubbard. I got motherfuckers from other channels. I kid you not, bro. I'm on Instagram. I got this
CK, doesn't you louder?
D'Angelo for the fucking Black Panther
Maybe a
Pod
little bit.
over here pressing me in my fucking DMs on fucking
There we
about fucking King fucking Bryce and fucking how XL's a piece of shit. I got this black ass nigga over here pressing my black ass in fucking Instagram, bro. Yeah, the hate's real fucking out here in this bitch, man. But
True.
yeah, Chuba Hubbard, y'all fucking Jesus, fucking Lord Savior Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. I want to get into my fucking 7 starting fucking wide receivers. Hold on, let me get back to this ass whooping. D's and skills. I'm gonna answer your question. Well, fucking Chuba's about to fucking pass Christian McCaffrey in rushing yards. He's only gonna fucking pass Christian McCaffrey because we had a stupid dumbass regime that was dumb enough to get rid of our generational fucking running back and white chocolate Christian fucking McCaffrey. That's why fucking Chuba Hubbard's in the position he's in, bruh. Stop it, man. If Christian McCaffrey was still with the Carolina Panthers, he's breaking every single rushing record. That's including fucking D'Angelo and fucking
No, he's
Jonathan
not,
Stewart. And
because he's fucking in
receiving
Germany
yards
getting
and
stem
receiving,
cells, bro.
Reception. You know how many records he's gonna break on that side as well? Like, y'all need to fucking stop the bullshit. So hey, Chuba Hubbard, kiss Christian McCaffrey's ass until he fucking is done with football, because that's the reason why you're in the position you're in. My 7 starting wide receivers in this particular order as far
7?
as depth.
Did you say 7?
Adam Thielen, Jalen Coker, Nola, Demi Horn, George, Toby Hudson, and I got XL's bitch ass very last. That country bougie ass Hollywood ass.
Yo, what the fuck is G Baby even talking about, dude?
Instagram videos to make fucking money on the fucking side and
Whoa,
promote his
whoa.
whatever.
Who is Kobe Hudson?
Oh, so is this I don't even think he said the right name. It's Jacoby George, and he's a wide receiver. No, he's a wide receiver that apparently some fans think he'll be better than Hunter Renfrow, and he'll be the reason why Hunter Renfrow doesn't make the team. It's like I have no idea what G is so upset
I don't
about.
know who that player
They
is.
play
And
for
you're
the
not taking
Panthers,
those 7
bro.
receivers.
And
into
bro,
the
here's the
season.
deal, man. I'm tired of talking about fucking Christian McCaffrey. Who gives a shit? He's not a Panther anymore. Why did you fucking care, bro? Move on.
Well, I mean, I do think there's something to the point of is like he's about to surpass him, like, and like there is volume versus greatness, right?
He
like
was a blue tent warrior damn near his entire time with the Panthers, man.
Dude, the guy is a boss when he's on the field.
100%. But he was more of a boss for the 49ers than the Panthers.
No, but he's every other year, bro. But it's caught up with him there too.
Like I listen, I don't like the idea of saying like who gives a shit about Christian McCaffrey. because he's not a Panther anymore, right? I think he's offered us the best season of any running back in the history of the Panthers organization. And by that same,
do you truly believe that?
Yes, absolutely.
What?
Just because it's
1,000 and 1,000?
1,000. I mean, he broke the record books.
Stephen
right?
Davis had 1,600 yards straight up rushing there.
Right, but when you look at what Christian McCaffrey is, they plan an entire a defensive plan around him.
He didn't have an offensive line. Imagine Christian McCaffrey behind this offensive line.
Well, think about Christian McCaffrey. Look what he did in San Fran when he actually had an offensive line, right? It was actually a pretty reasonable, he actually
MVP type.
He killed it, right?
Caliber.
And so I think that is it's not a wrong take, but I don't think that it's fair to say that who gives a shit about Christian McCaffrey, because he did a lot for us. And arguably, additionally, what I would even put in front of us is I don't think that he was just a blue team warrior. I think that he was basically forced to sit out because there was no point in him playing. Because we were that bad of a team there for a bit.
If we would have been making the playoffs, he would have come back. Those types of things. He is a great player. He is, like he said, a generational type. He would have been. He's not a generational talent because he's been hampered by injuries.
Right.
Is ultimately similar to a Bo Jackson type player.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson could have been and arguably was the greatest running back in NFL history. But the problem was he had a hip injury that destroyed his career.
Right.
He literally did shit that was fucking insane. Right. And Christian McCaffrey does that when he's on the field. But even in San Francisco, he has had, he is fantastic. He is better than I ever thought he could be.
Yeah.
He is. He truly is. But right now, he is in Germany.
Do you feel like he's an all-time great Panther?
I think Christian McCaffrey.
How about this? Would you put him above either Jonathan Stewart or D'Angelo Williams?
That's hard for me.
No.
Yeah,
I'd put him
I would not put him above either of them.
I wonder if I will not do it because of nostalgia. I gravitate to those players because of.
But do you see what I'm saying? McCaffrey is definitely one of the better running backs that the NFL has ever seen. But if we're judging his career, he really had that one really, really good year with the Panthers, and then the best of the rest came with San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's unfair to say that if we're talking about just Panthers running backs, he doesn't rank as high as some of these other dudes that have busted their ass here for us before.
He's such a conundrum for this podcast, or at least for me, is running backs don't matter. Game changing, different types of backs do matter. I don't like that conversation of running backs don't matter. They all can be. That works when we're just talking about running backs. But every now and then you get these fucking game changers. And he truly was that type of game changer. It's also terrible timing. It was it's kind of a sad story. It kind of reminds me of the Cam story.
I'm just now noticing that CK has his McCaffrey jersey on.
Oh. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about McCaffrey because every time I draft him in my fantasy football league, it's the year after he's great.
He's had the great year. Yep.
All right. G baby, because I love you. Some of the listeners don't understand the G baby effect.
Dude, there are certain callers that people will hear and they're like, oh, as soon as I have it highlighted, I didn't even know. Yeah, great show until G Baby calls. Some people just don't love the cussing, but whatever, man. We let G Baby talk his shit.
He's my boy. He's my boy, and he knows how to butter me up. He's like my white Italian brother. I got you. All right, here it goes for the last time.
Cover your ears.
This team needs to add. Oh, this is the one and only, the light-skinned babyface assassin, the one that's been supporting King Bryce since day one. Yeah,
I love how people didn't think he was
deep,
black
baby.
forever.
I'm back. I want to talk about fucking adding fucking Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander,
Oh
the
my
great,
God.
and fucking Justin Simmons. Man, these are pieces that are necessary to developing our young talent. All three of these guys are strong leaders. All three of them, I believe, are all Pro Bowlers. We need to add talent on the defensive side of the ball. We are so goddamn thin as far as quarterbacks,
He is not
linebackers,
wrong at safety.
safeties. It's not going to hurt to add players like Jalen Ramsey, Jair Alexander, and fucking Justin Simmons to this worst defense of all fucking time that we've seen last year. I want to talk about Dan Morgan and company. Dan Morgan, Tillis, and fucking David Tepper all deserve a round of applause. Can we give them a round of applause, please? Because there were a lot of fucking shit talkers and haters. Dan Morgan, especially on David fucking Tepper, man. Can we give David Tepper some fucking some roses, please? Because if it wasn't for him taking a step back, and he was more involved than I actually thought watching the fucking blueprint. That blueprint was pure fire, y'all. There's so much to talk about. A lot of motherfuckers, where have you been? Why have you been MIA, man? Hey, man, I got a family of 5, man. I got to take care of, man. I might have a little one on the way, so I don't know yet. But, you know, I got a family of 5.
Oh, God, the comments are about to go.
You know what I'm saying? I've been dealing with my fucking mom and shit. I'm trying to bring everyone, you know, together and kumbaya, and now I finally have that again. You know, life is good again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's also hiding his bathroom from his beautiful
so keep your loved ones close.
fiance.
Cody Lack, sending prayers to your mom. Like I said, I've been under a rock. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm sending prayers your way. Prayers your way. My wife is out, and prayers your way. Fucking CK. I hope everyone is doing fucking well and dandy. Prayers to what the fuck is going on in the world, you guys. There's a lot going on in the world. What's going on with all the Latinos and Hispanics? What's going on over in Israel and motherfucking Iran and Gaza and all this shit that's going on in the fucking world, man. Hey, it's time to fucking love one another, you guys. I can't explain that more than enough. Blessings to everyone.
What a great final call from G.
I'm not going to make another call, but Baby Pickle, all you other motherfuckers, I got you guys next round because I made 3 calls. So I'm going to spare your motherfucking lives right now. So y'all know who the fuck this is. Steve, baby. I'm fucking out.
I
Shout
love
out
you,
G, baby. We love you, brother.
He will pick one of us that he hates every couple of weeks.
It is wild. He is.
It's all right because like I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole point of it.
G baby will hate you for 2 weeks and then love you in the next 2.
Yeah. And then then I'll be his brother.
G baby is our favorite.
Jokes to be made in that call, by the way, that I'm not gonna make. G baby, I love you. All right, that's the show. We just got one last segment to do, which is to ice some fools up, and it's our homage to Steve Smith, where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up, to get it together. Cody, take us to that longest.
Ice up.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our homage to Smitty, which he actually has become a perpetual ice up because of the loss of affection law. And by the way, I brought that up. I can't wait to see how that pans out. Actually, I do. We're with you, Smitty. Ice up, toughen up, get it together. Who we icing up tonight, Cody?
Tony, do you wanna go first?
I will. All right, let me pull my. I don't have anything super great. I may have a couple. I don't know what to say. I'm icing up a player I love in college football. And my bastard son's going to be mad.
Hold on. Here you go.
And I don't know. This kid, as a true freshman, Lenora Sellers, is incredible. He was incredible. He's going to be incredible. I told y'all, I think last year, like, wait for it. Like he looks like Cam Newton with glasses. He can do it all. I really think that he's gonna be a player that we're gonna be talking about in the future. I truly no. Well, all right, fine with you. I truly believe this.
Cade Klubnik is better.
I don't care who you think is better. I think this kid, he ain't a kid. He a man. He a boss. Like he is a true freshman coming out there and looking fucking fantastic. I do not say baby Cam lightly. I mean, I'm a Cam sexual, but like it is like he's got the physicality, he's got the arm, he kind of even looks like him.
Dude, they said this about Anthony Richardson too, man.
No, I got wooed in the last seconds about him. I was not saying that about him since I like his beginning, right? So I really truly like this guy as a player, and I read this today, and I don't know how to feel about it. It comes from the Dove Cleveland, which is the recycle account. But it says loyalty. South Carolina quarterback Lenora Sellers turned down an $8 million NIL offer to transfer to a different school. And his father said this, "You're 19. By the way, he's 19 fucking years old. Think of that. 19. He's going to play 2 more years. I think kids should stay in college as long as they can if they're getting this money and they're getting big money. Don't go to NFL. Don't stay.
Tony, there's a bunch of Panther fans who are like, if Bryce doesn't pan out this year, it's Lenora Sellers season. And,
I think he needs to stay. If you're getting this kind of money in college, I think the only good thing I think about the NIL is it doesn't push kids to come out of college prematurely, and then you have to draft like a Brian Burns, and you're saying, oh, well, we got him when he's 20, so we're going to have him for 32 years next. No, like they can develop. I think I'm icing up loyalty.
Ooh.
You're icing up
because I don't think this is, and I think it's admirable in some. I don't know. I don't even think it's admirable. Take $8 million, bro.
No, listen, you and I are going to have to be of a different mindset on this,
Well, that's
man.
fine, but this is my ice up pick. I'm going to tell you, $8 million, you're 19 years old. Would you, if you scratched off an $8 million lottery ticket and be like, you know what? I need to earn it. I'm sorry. This is, and we might not like where college football or any of the money in the world is. We might not like society and the idea of NIL and the transfer, but you're not an individual who's going to change the whole scheme of shit.
No.
By taking like, oh, I'm making a stand. Take that $8 million, and I better hear a story coming out that he's like got $6 million with South Carolina. So you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I had loyalty, but I still got $6 million. Because $8 million, if we would have asked Wesley Walls at this time, who got sued for fucking changing counties in this high school, what he thought about a guy passing down $8 million, which I kind of did throw it out there. Take that money. You could fucking hurt your knee. You could get, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm icing up loyalty in this case. I guess this is cool. I love this player. $8 million. Yeah. Okay.
What's up? CK, you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
So, Debo Samuel is going viral for all the wrong reasons.
Oh, God.
So, what's the head coach for the Commanders? Used to be
it's Dan Quinn.
Yeah, Dan Quinn.
Backwards that white guy.
So I'm actually icing up Dan Quinn because he said that whenever you see Debo on the field, you're reminded that he's one of the fastest players in the NFL. And this is the clip going viral of Debo moving slow as hell, like really trying hard to get upfield. And people are roasting him and clowning him. So a lot of Commanders fans already have buyer's remorse and saying that he showed up unhealthy and not in football shape, which, by the way, it's not time to report.
Yeah,
This is all sort of overblown.
Do you think he looks slow? I think.
I don't think he looks fast.
Right, I agree.
Somebody said he looked like Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was fucked up.
I think that's a messed up one.
That was messed up.
But I know what they mean by that.
I think it's one of those. When I first watched it, I was like, yuck. And not yuck of him, because he always has had a dad body or uncle body. Yeah. It was the routes, and it was like, because everybody wants to show me these stupid routes from OTAs or whatever, and they're like, look at that wiggle and look at this and this route. And those the mug didn't even move. He just ran straight in both of them. Like that was it. It just ran straight. But this is the internet, folks, and this is what we do. Ice up.
Ice up. Skip.
So I don't know. Have you guys been watching much of this Google AI stuff that they've been doing with videos?
No.
Bro, it is insane. Like how this AI stuff is working. Anyway, I guess what I'm icing up is the fact that it's just, I think it's the end of I think it's potentially going to be the end of like content creation and people being the stars of the content creation. It's not going to be the end of content creation as a whole, but what it's going to do is it's going to bring an end to people being at the forefront of those conversations. Or
what video made you think this,
dude? Have you seen the Bigfoot? Have you seen
the ones I have seen are like the president, like they'll put the president up, which I think they're like, when are laws going to come into effect of you saying, but it was like that's it was like a sexual orientation thing,
right?
And they'd be like, that's, and you're like, wait a second. They didn't really say that.
There's so much of that stuff, dude. It's not even like you have the Bigfoot, you have it's wild that
every Jordan Peterson monologue on Facebook, I think, is AI.
Dude, it's starting to become what I saw once today was a video of a woman doing a newscast, and it was like the worst crazy stuff. And then she was like, I'm actually fake. And you're like, oh my gosh, dude, I believed that was real all the way up until an alien came out of the ocean and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so wild. And so I'm icing up those people who think that your job is safe from AI. There will be eventually a situation where you will find out you are not safe from this revolution that is
I worry about
here
this.
and on its way.
I worry about this in my own profession, CK, as a college instructor, where I truly believe 99% of the students are doing it.
Yeah.
Do I fail them all? It's like such a conundrum on what the meaning of what we're doing is.
Yeah.
But I did think about this today because I deal with the AI world inadvertently and begrudgingly and optimistically all at the same time. I don't think it's going to crush humanity because of this, is that there's no flavor in it. Like, you can tell it to have flavor. You can say, make me a joke, this and that. But what we can put is, I think there will be a counter revolution in writing, in acting, in joke making. Yeah. And all of this is to say, yeah, this is computer shit. But guess what? It ain't got the delivery.
It can't reproduce the human spirit.
Right. Yeah. It's like flawed. The flawed, like, I'm actually, this is so bananas, is that for so long, for 15 years, you're critical of people for making errors in their writing.
Yeah.
Like you're like, I need to help you with your commas. I need to help you with your capitalization and this. And now when I get flawed writing, I'm celebrating. I'm giving better grades to people for human effort. It's like, oh, you didn't capitalize. I love you. I hated your ass 5 years ago. I think there will be a counter revolution to this, is that you can. I saw a good, and here, we got to finish the show, and I know I'm dragging it out. I saw a video on the Panther. It was popped up on my suggestion list about the Panthers OTAs or whatever. And it was like optimism and this and that. And it was this straight voiceover to just like video clips. But it was all Jimmy Horn Jr. video clips. And so they were talking about the Panthers in general terms. And all I can believe, and I'm pretty sure, is that this account on YouTube writes AI generated voiceover stuff. And because none of the stuff matched the videos, right? And it was like, some people were like, oh, this is great. Some people are like, oh, this is just a Jimmy Horn snapshot. It doesn't have soul. But they had 23,000 subscribers.
But also, dude, maybe give it 5 years and maybe you'd be like, oh, there's nothing that it can't reproduce. You know what I mean? Like, this shit is moving so fast. I'm with CK. It's scary how many jobs we take for, like, children's authors of children's books. That'll be gone forever. You're going to have an AI that'll be able to produce the whole thing. No, I mean, you have to read anymore. I'm saying all the advanced things, even the low-level things that we thought that we would be able to do forever. Nah, CK's right, man. It's all going away.
All right. Well, I think comedians will still hit.
Yeah. I think so, too.
There would be a counter-revolution. And you're part of it with the C3 Panthers podcast. We didn't air this podcast tonight. I went in the stacks and asked, I could have asked Wesley Walls about the doping problems in Carolina where he had to testify in a court case. Save that one for the next one. You're listening to the longest running Panthers podcast, the C3 Panthers podcast. I do it with my homies, my brothers, and all of y'all in the chat. Thank you so much. Subscribe. We'll be doing another giveaway. We have more artifacts, as Cody described it. Great description from Bank of America that will be given away all season. Smash thumbs up button, subscribe. We love you guys. Cody,
thank you to Forest City Kitty too for the $1.99. Tony, I love you, man. Happy that we were able to make this happen tonight. Once again, thank you to Wesley Walls. Absolutely incredible interview. I hope everybody loved it. If you didn't tune in or you missed it, catch the VOD and check out the replay. And thank you to Wesley. And we're going to try and do that again. And maybe try and get some more Panthers legends and other Panther names that we can get a hold of. So, C3 Legion, we do it for the love of the y'all.
Panther Gal said pretty much ghost writing advanced. By the way, John F. Kennedy won a Pulitzer Prize for a book that he didn't write. Let's get out of here.
C3 Legion. Until next time, keep pounding.